Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Congratulations for being here just a little bit early. We're going to get the show going in just about a minute and a half, but I want to say a big congrats to Learbag over on YouTube for first comment of the day. What's up? Good job, Learbag. You win the big prize. Now, today, folks, as usual, remember to follow us in multiple locations. Do not just rely on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey or whatever to get the show. You're going to want to follow us somewhere else as well. Maybe Twitch. Who knows? Get crazy. You can find all these places to follow the show at CanaryCry.Party. Here's the thing. You haven't done it yet. I understand. You don't want to make another account somewhere. You just like the comforts, the familiar comforts of YouTube. And surely YouTube would never take away your favorite podcast. But here's the thing. They definitely will. They definitely have. They've done it twice now. And so there's nothing to stop them from doing it again. So if you want to stay connected to the show, make sure to follow us on multiple locations, including subscribing to the podcast version of the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Do it. You can head to CanaryCry.Party for all those links. Make sure to sign up for the newsletter as well. We send out all the show notes with vital links to all the stories we cover. If you are at all engaged in conversation with people who might think differently from you, this is a very important resource. So go sign up for the newsletter. All right, folks, stay hydrated. Let's get going.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is September 17th, 2021. This is episode 390. And today, we're disrespecting Mectin. That's right. Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. I need the reverb. Events. The echo.
Events.
Yeah. Well,
actually, yeah, you should. We could probably get a little box for that. You know, you get to just click it on whenever you want.
Yeah, if I want to get really crazy.
And while we're doing that, I should have one. I should be able to put echo on my voice whenever I want.
You should refresh your video too, because you just went transparent.
Okay,
Fun times.
I'll do that for you, my friend.
Yes, good. Oh no, now you've become an everlasting hologram of yourself.
Good. This is good radio.
Video cards are amazing.
Sorry, podcast listeners.
Yeah. That's
so let's see. What is today? Today is Friday. We did it. We made it again, folks. Another week. This week flew. I literally am getting a little worried about my mental state because it feels like this week was one day.
Yeah.
One single day.
Welcome to the depths of your 30s.
I don't know, man.
As I find my way out,
hopping.
I know I'm trying to look for my way out, and and it's it doesn't get any better.
Great, thank you.
I wanted
what's
to.
Going on? You seem distracted. What do you want to do? You got to start to the show.
Yeah. I want to start the show. I have a couple things to mention at the top here. First off, this is San Francisco Chronicle. World's largest sequoias wrapped in aluminum insulation as fire nears giant forest. So now they're wrapping trees in tinfoil to protect them.
Those crazy conspiracy theorist trees. That's crazy. The good news is it'll protect those sequoias from the 5G too. So.
I know, and the vax, the whole deal.
And the vax. Dude, it would not surprise me if somebody was coming up with a COVID-19 vaccine for trees.
Oh, you know what? I picture, the Lord of the Rings where the tree people, or they talk, they walk really slow though. they're having their meeting.
The Ents.
Yeah, the Ents. Yes, they're having their meeting, and they're like, "We must not take the job."
Dude, I don't know. Something about those Ents. I think they're vaxxed up. I think they're huge.
There's a war within the tree kind.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's probably just as split.
Yeah. Well, Spirit Vessels, Spirit Vessels, who is a producer of today's show, sent us a note, and I thought I'd read the note now just because it's relevant. He or she, I don't know, said, FYI, the tinfoil house wrap, which is the reason why we're bringing up the tree wrap now, the house story of a few days ago, where there's, they wrapped the house in tinfoil and it didn't burn. Yeah. The tinfoil house wrap is a tool used by firefighters to protect buildings. I used to be a wildland firefighter, and have used it to protect historic buildings. Although, as always, your rants do make me laugh. Thanks, guys. Well, thanks, Spirit Vessels. Yeah, good info there. I guess this is a known thing for...
Why doesn't everybody do that? That's crazy.
I don't know. Not enough tinfoil. The price of tinfoil would skyrocket, and that doesn't look good on the anti-conspiracy theory crowd,
Well, we're wrapping trees. We might as well wrap houses. What's the deal?
Well, they need California and other places to burn down. They can't not have it burn.
Yes, as if they actually don't want to burn down houses and increase the price of standing properties.
Yeah. Joe Biden. Very interesting. Joe Biden needs ammo for his infrastructure bill too. He can't do that unless half the state is burning down. So
look, we will not approve the infrastructure bill unless there's $42 billion set aside to wrap every building and every tree in the redwood forest with tinfoil.
Yeah.
It's the Green New Deal, baby.
And, one of the things that we do on this show, we're not, we are more of the conservative mindset, I suppose. But we don't really represent we don't really represent Republicans or Democrats on the show. And
although, real quick, just to know, I know you got a thing you're doing.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the political continuum is presented in a line, left or right.
Right.
When in reality, we know it's a circle.
It's a circle.
I talk to some of the most liberal people, quote unquote, politically liberal Antifa type people that I know. Mm-hmm. And I find I am oftentimes more liberal than they are because they're obsessed with the government being involved in their life decisions. I'm like, look, I technically, politically, I lean conservative, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I'm saying, hey, give people more freedom. How is that not considered liberal? I don't know. It drives me insane.
Well, you're comparing the classic definition of liberal with the more not modern, but the contemporary use of the phrase or title liberal.
And now I'm budging into your thing, and I'm sorry, because as we'll read in the reviews, people don't like it when I interrupt you. But I was talking with somebody, and the super liberal person lives out in the forest, kind of a hippy-dippy type, and we were discussing economy, and they were complaining about just the concept of investing. Doesn't matter whether it's stocks or cryptocurrency or whatever. They hate the idea that somebody can make money without working for it. And I was like, okay, so what's your solution? And they're like, I think everybody has to work and everybody makes money when they work. They have to be in the system. I'm like, okay, well, what if somebody doesn't want to be in the system? That's the whole thing with investing. Like, you want to make money, but you don't want to sell your life away to a boss who's going to give you scraps for it. They say, oh, there's options for those people. You can panhandle, you can beg. I'm like, so your liberal utopia is get a job or be homeless? How is that any different from what we are currently dealing with? Like, no, this is the way it should be. I'm like, okay, we're not going to ever talk about this again because you're a crazy person.
All right. Well, you just called somebody crazy on air. That's good.
That's okay. She knows it.
Well, one of the things that, again, we try to do is not really explicitly go right wing or left wing. We talk about how it's two wings of the same bird. Two
birds of the same stone.
Two stones of the bird that sits on the wings of abomination. Anyway,
two wings of the same coin. We get it.
Sure. So Newsmax, this clip went absolutely crazy viral from both sides of the political aisle.
So glad you brought this.
Yeah, and we'll play it and we'll just comment on it and move on. There's not much to break down. It's pretty blunt.
I can tell you this didn't happen under President Trump, and I know there's a lot of people on the...
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Pause it. We should give a little setup. This is on OAN, or Newsmax? Which one was it?
Newsmax.
Okay, it's Newsmax. You've got the sort of... news anchor, but he's got the Newsmax attitude. He's a vet, and he's talking to another vet who's involved in rescue missions in Afghanistan, getting Americans out. And this is the conversation that they have.
Left that want to try to blame President Trump. He wanted out of Afghanistan real bad. He was real frustrated not being able to get out, but he didn't pull out because he knew this would happen. In fact, we all did. I called it on this program. My 12-year-old son knew about it, and so I've got Americans there that are stuck. To me, that's a hostage situation. But Joe, I appreciate you working to get them out. I really do, and I wish you all luck in the world.
With due respect, with due respect, Grant, I mean, like, veterans, being one, right, and our friends are over there. Right. We followed this closely from multiple administrations, and we know the Trump's administration's efforts here were fairly weak, that they were trying to limit the number of people that would get out. And so there was coordination problems.
Joe, I'm going to cut you. I'm already weak. I'm already low on time, Joe. Cut him off, please. Cut him off now. Cut him off now.
Whoa.
You're not going to blame this on President Trump on my show. That's not happening. Now, I appreciate the work that you're doing. God bless you for being a veteran. God bless you for trying to get Americans out. But don't come on this program and take the talking points of the left and blame President Trump. That's not helping anybody. The Biden administration screwed this up from the very start. You know it. I know it. The country knows it. And you call them not hostages. I don't know how you don't call them hostages. They're stuck in Afghanistan with a country overrun with terrorists that are willing to kill them all. I'm mad about that, man. I really am. All right. We're going to slow it down because we've got a real hero coming up. That man's a real hero, too. He served.
Backpedal.
And the weird thing about this, when the vet starts trying to get his last word in there, you can see the anchor looking off towards his either a stage manager or his producer, whoever. It's like somebody is waving his hand, somebody's trying to get his attention. He's looking back and forth over and over and just panics and goes into this rage. And look, I mean, this is a beautiful example of just pure, unadulterated partisan triggering.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because the part that I think really needs to be highlighted is this anchor saying, you will not come on here and basically say that or peddle the talking points of the left. I don't know that this veteran that was about to speak or got cut off was going to make any point that the left has made against Trump. It was just his observation of like, hey, we've been here for multiple administrations, and
it sounded to me, it didn't sound like he didn't even really mention Trump, I don't think. I mean, we'd have to go back and listen a little tighter. But I did not even get the feeling that he was about to blame President Trump. He was basically saying, like, this has been a hopeless situation for a while. Yeah. And, and this guy just totally explodes on him. I don't know. Here's the thing. We love the fact that alternatives exist in the mainstream. Of course, places like OAN, Newsmax they are the right-funded, Trump-loving type of outlet. And don't look, you take in whatever media you want, but don't be mistaken that there isn't partisan control over this. That was the genius of Fox News, was their tagline was fair and balanced. And I mean, I have had people, oh, I watch Fox because it's fair and balanced. Yeah, well, I mean, it's balanced. Like the channel itself isn't necessarily fair and balanced, but it does add some sort of balance to the scales of left-right mainstream news media. But they're still news media, and they're still, funded by corporations.
Murdoch.
Yes, and they still take big pharma money. They operate on the concept of emotionally triggering partisan issues, and that's of course what Newsmax is. So anyways, you take in whatever news media you want, but keep in mind, when you are watching Newsmax, it is also a politically partisan tinderbox that exists for one reason, which is to, continue the right partisan messaging. You're not getting some sort of, it's not more objective than other outlets.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Fox, because I have a clip here from Laura Ingraham.
Great.
And her little segment sounded like a throwback to the truth channels of old, the Face Like the Suns and the scariest movie evers and stuff. I mean, it's like her best version of it.
Rockefeller Foundation helped produce a shockingly prescient report on 4 possible future scenarios that could play out over the next 15 to 20 years. One of them involved a global pandemic that's remarkably similar to what happened over the last year. During this pandemic, quote, international mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. Normally bustling shops and office buildings sat empty for months, devoid of both employees and customers. National leaders around the world imposed airtight rules and restrictions, from the mandatory wearing of face masks to body temp checks. Wow, that does sound familiar. 10, 11 years ago. The report went on to detail how the powers that be would never let that imaginary crisis end. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck and even intensified. Citizens willingly gave up some of their sovereignty and their privacy to more paternalistic states in exchange for greater safety and stability. This heightened oversight took many forms: biometric IDs for all citizens, tighter regulations of industries whose stability was deemed vital to national interests.
So there you go. I mean, this isn't new.
Wow. I was going to say, great job. They're reporting on stuff that people like you and I have been reporting on for 10 years.
I know, but hey, it's on Fox News. That's I guess it's a step in the right direction. You got to also ask why.
It just shows that we're 10 years ahead of the game, Gons.
Yep.
Everything we're saying now, all the crazy, nonsense that we talk about here on the show is going to be mainstream media in 10 years.
Oh, that's scary. Especially when it comes to things like the Flippy update.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
That is going to make me an angry, grumpy old man, is in 10 years, all the mainstream news starts doing a Flippy update. All right, folks, little Flippy update here. If you're new to the show, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, we're getting this from EuroNews.com, Gons, and it goes like this. A robot that can pump gas is being piloted at a filling station in southern China. At one gas station in the Zhuangzi autonomous region, a robotic arm equipped with sensors extends out from a regular petrol pump. The robot first receives an order from a customer via an app. It then can open the car's fuel tank, unscrew the cap, and direct a fuel nozzle towards the open tank. After refueling the vehicle, the robot tightens the cap, closes the door, and returns to its initial position. The whole process takes about 180 seconds, similar to the amount of time it takes a human worker to do the same job. The robot was developed by Sinopec, one of China's major oil and gas producers. It consists of 4 parts: a robotic arm, a cognitive system, a fuel nozzle, and other refueling accessories. and a control system. The robot also uses obstacle avoidance technologies, so it can avoid bumping into pedestrians and vehicles during its service. According to Sinopec, the robot will be used in over 30,000 gas stations across the country. So this is a fun little one. We actually were going to bring it last episode, but we saved it for this episode. Long story short, robotic arm that just pops out of the gas pump and fills your car without you needing to get involved. First impressions, Gons, this seems a little late in the game. I mean, we both were discussing this, like, how are we just now implementing autonomous robotic arms for this purpose? It seems like this should have been out years ago.
Well,
but
part of it, I mean, it just seems like gas stations are kind of the last places to get infrastructure rebuild.
Totally. Yeah.
So that's part of it. But also, I'm watching this, 180 seconds to get it going. That's a long time to, like, open the thing and look for the little cap and turn
it's 3 minutes. I wonder if that includes the actual pumping process. I think 3 minutes is a fair amount of time to fill your gas tank.
3 minutes to totally fill your thing, but are you sure it's not 3 minutes to, like, get it going the same amount of time?
Yeah, this said the whole process takes 180 seconds.
Oh, the whole process. Okay.
Yeah. But now, in the context of the robot takeover, which is why we talk about Flippy, most states in the United States don't have this. There's one state, I believe, Oregon, where you're not allowed to pump your own gas.
Yeah.
There's a little teenager that comes out and fills your gas, and it sounds like, and I know other countries around the world have similar things, where you're not allowed to. I mean, on one hand, it makes sense. Like, yeah, you're just trusting strangers to transfer extremely flammable, explosive material from, a tank into a car. I could see how, in concept, you'd want to take out some of the variables of people being bad at gas pumping. Not to mention leaving the thing in. Have you ever left the nozzle in and driven away?
I don't think I've ever done that. I think I turned on the car one time, but I think I realized that the thing was still in there. So
I did it once in my life. I was in my teens. I left the pump in and just drove away. It was I made it pretty far before I realized what had happened. And it's a pretty big fine. It's like $400 or something. I had to pay for it. Yeah, it was gnarly. So anywho, really in the U.S., Flippy is coming for the teenagers' jobs in Oregon. So Oregon will be the main,
target
victim.
Market.
Yeah, right. But again, it's another step in taking away all these entry-level jobs. I mean, these robots. Here's the thing about the robots. The first phase of the robot takeover is not, taking working career professionals' job, although you are on the list. Do not be mistaken. But it's entry-level jobs. I mean, it's the 16-year-olds are not going to be able to – there's not going to be an industry to get a job when you're young. And that's going to spill over. I mean, you learn a lot of lessons having a job as a teenager.
Yeah.
My first job was like doing flooring construction, and I was pretty young. I'm realizing now probably my boss was breaking some child labor laws, but
you're realizing it now.
I'm just now. I don't think you're allowed to do that at the age that I started working. So I like to talk about how I'm not a huge fan of manual labor, but I've put in my time. I've done my dues. But, once the robots take over, these kids are not going to have the opportunity to learn any responsibility or work ethic.
Well, the other thing, for some reason, I'm reminded of that Zoolander scene at the beginning where they're like tossing gas on each other.
Orange mocha frappuccinos. Yeah, the gasoline fight.
Yes. Yeah. So if the robot arm ever becomes sentient there and doesn't like you, what if it just starts dousing you with gas? just because it hates you, it wants to burn you.
Yeah, well, it scans your car, scans you. You know, you turn on the little app thing, and it says unvaccinated, unvaccinated, and then just starts spraying gasoline all over your car, and that takes care of the problem.
Yeah, the other thing, there's a breaking news bar at the top of the EuroNews website here, and it says France recalls ambassadors to U.S. and Australia amid submarine deal outrage. So I don't know. Remember that submarine deal with Australia, the nukes?
Yeah,
something must have happened there.
France and the U.S. and Australia got together. Yeah, I have not done enough reading on the whole thing to wonder why France is so angry. But, the U.S. is backing nuclear submarines in Australia, and somehow at the expense of France.
Yeah, the French are mad. We'll have to see what's going on with that. But in the meantime, we're going to move on here. We got some New World Order geoengineering stuff here.
A new world order can emerge.
Geoengineering.
The first thing I have is a Biden clip. He talks about inflation and scary climate, as he has been. Did you know, Basil, that his infrastructure bill will stop inflation and fight climate change? It's the all-doing bill.
He's going to solve the entire world's problems.
Republican friends talk a lot about inflation. But if you want to talk about actually lowering the cost of living for people in this country, my plan does just that. By strengthening the capacity of our economy, it will also reduce inflationary pressures over the long run. Here's something else my plan does. It confronts the crisis of extreme weather events that we're seeing all around us and around the world, but just here in America. We see it everywhere. We know it's real. In just the past few weeks, and there's more to come, I've seen the destruction of hurricanes in Louisiana.
Destroyed hurricanes. I know what he meant, but still, just the wording is funny.
The winds got up to 100 gusts to 179 miles an hour.
100 gusts.
A deadly toll from flooding in New York, where 20 inches of rain in New Jersey, more than 11 inches of rain in some areas. More than 5 million acres of our lands and communities have burned to the ground in wildfires.
It's because they're not wrapped in tinfoil, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just this year alone, there's a blinking code red out there for the nation.
It's code red. It keeps bringing up code red.
Mountain Dew, code red.
And I don't think the code red is the climate. I think it's Biden is the code red. But yeah, there you go. I mean, he's going to curb inflation over the long term, which is like, have you seen the inflation? The last month, I believe it went up like 4%. I mean, it's like out of control, but...
Yeah, and what? We're supposed to have 3% a year or something?
2% annually.
2% a year?
Yeah. According to the way they calculate it, which is a little suspicious to begin with.
Sure, yeah.
A couple headlines here to kind of go along with it. And this first one is from the Financial Times. Shutdown and aftershocks, COVID, and the New World Order. I thought the New World Order was a phrase that only fringe conspiracy theorists use to talk about untrue things about globalists trying to take over or use the pandemic as an excuse for world government.
Bro, they are dropping it every day.
I know, it's pretty wild now.
They're like making it a normal part of newscasts. I mean, every day there's another just casual mention of the New World Order from news anchors and reporters.
It's interesting, too, because Financial Times has a banner at the top of this website. You can get 50% off. A new world is possible. Let's not go back to what wasn't working anyway. There you go. It's like the little ad for Financial Times, like subscribe to us because a new world is possible. Let's not go back to the way things weren't working. It's all build back better, New World Order. It's all the same. It's just different.
That's the Great
verbiage.
Reset. Yeah.
Great Reset. Yeah, it's all the same thing. It's just different phrases depending on what time of year or whatever.
Well, I think there's some A/B testing going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out which term has the best effect, what catches on, what gets the most outrage, what triggers people, what doesn't, what is the best language to be using to communicate this, because calling it the Great Reset really didn't work that well.
No, it is kind of also a refresh probably, for the SEO, which the elites seem to be doing a lot of. We got another story on some of that. But CNN also had a headline: EU chief challenges US on climate and asserts Brussels' role in new international order. Mm-hmm. And in the article itself, it says here... Oh, where did it go? Oh, here we go. The first paragraph. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen sought to assert the bloc as a global leader on the climate crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic, and humanitarian issues in a sweeping speech Wednesday that acknowledged an emerging new world order.
Yeah,
the CNN.
There it is. I know. It's they're just trying to make it a normal thing that and remember, it's all about the elites. It's a story about the elites. Here's what they're going to do. Don't worry, they're going to change the world for us. Just sit back and take your vax, folks.
Yeah, and keeping in mind that the phrase New World Order goes back much further. And I think there was even an earlier one, but the one that I always talk about is Alice Bailey's externalization of the hierarchy, when writing for Lucius Trust, which used to be called Lucifer Magazine. Mm-hmm. She wrote out a plan while channeling an entity, writing all of her works there, the steps towards a new world order, and she had all the 10, 11 steps or whatever it is. So, I mean, it's been in the public vernacular for a while. And especially pertaining to these, world controlling type of folks, they've always talked about it. Bush said it in 1991 or whatever. And, it's always been a thing, but it's just interesting how it goes away for a while and then it comes back. It comes roaring back.
In the mainstream, for sure.
In the mainstream, yeah.
Well, speaking of a new world order, Gons, I've got some big news for you.
Okay, let's do it.
This is coming from mic.com, and the headline is scientists are potty training cows in an effort to save the planet.
Oh, good.
We figured it out, Gons. We don't need no infrastructure bill, no Green New Deal. We just got to potty train these cows.
Just wrap those cows in tinfoil. We'll be good to go.
It reads like this. You probably already know that cow farts and burps are bad for the planet. Okay. Emitting a shocking amount of methane with each passing flatulence. Well, guess what? Cow pee is also hurting the planet for similar reasons. And cows pee a lot. One day to address to address this problem is apparently to potty train the cows to use a toilet that can treat the urine so it does less damage. Are they just running out of things to do to get funded?
I don't know. I mean, look, I would rather have scientists be training Susie the cow, potty training them, rather than mutilating them like some of the creepy grays are doing.
That's true. We don't want to do that. Let's keep going. Does that sound convoluted? Yes. Is it happening anyway? Absolutely. Scientists in Germany have trained nearly 12 cows to empty their tank in an area where the urine can be collected, treated, and safely disposed of without the significant contribution to greenhouse gases. The project, developed in tandem with researchers at the University of Auckland in New Zealand, requires cattle to be trained to pee in a designated spot that allows for efficient urine collection, basically like a toilet for cows. The brains behind the effort are calling the Moo-Loo, Ooh, Mooloo. Well, they got the branding on point, which we have to say is pretty brilliant. And while it's cute to imagine cows sitting down on a toilet, that's not quite what happens. Instead, they pee in a pen, which collects all the waste to be treated before it can turn into a pollutant. In order to teach the cows to do their business in the Mooloo, scientists basically treated the cattle like children who needed to be potty trained. They used a sweet treat to guide the cows into the pen where they are meant to pee. If the cows relieved themselves where they were supposed to, they got a treat. If they emptied their bladder outside of the pen, they got hit with a short burst of water instead. Oh my gosh.
Waterboarding the cows.
Yeah, they're waterboarding the cows until they pee in the right
Poor
spot.
Cows.
Researchers said that after 15 days, 11 of the 16 cows that were part of the initial experiment were using Mooloo properly. Quote, the cows are at least as good as children, aged 2 to 4 years, at least as quick. Senior study author Lindsay Matthews, an animal behavioral scientist at the University of Auckland, told the Associated Press in what can only be viewed as some shade thrown at children everywhere. Getting cow pee out of the agriculture sector is important. This is important, Gons. Don't make jokes. Cows can produce up to 8 gallons of urine a day, and all that pee contains nitrogen. When cows are allowed to relieve themselves wherever they want, it results in nitrogen from their urine mixing with the ammonia in feces and creating an environmental hazard. When that toxic mix is in the air, it can result in acid rain or... These cows are causing acid rain, apparently, all on their own. Or mix with water and turn into nitrous oxide, a harmful airborne pollutant that traps heat and eats away the ozone layer. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, nitrous oxide made up 7% of all greenhouse gases in the U.S. Simply training cows to pee somewhere new isn't going to save us from climate change.
Well, then why are they doing it? The whole thing was to do that. That was the whole reason for the thing, for the Mooloo.
It's one brick in the wall, Gons. First, it starts with potty training cows. Then you potty train the goats, and then you vax humans, and then we'll save the world.
Well, I think the next couple sentences
that will require a complete overhaul of the agricultural industry and reimagining how and what we eat. But the Mooloo does provide a potential way to mitigate the damage cattle do to the planet. Plus, it gives us an excuse to use the term Mooloo. So there you go, Gons. They will stop at nothing. They'll stop at nothing to control these cattle.
I like the 5 out of the 16 cows that were like, forget this Mooloo nonsense. I'm not going to go along with the cattle. I will not be. I will not be.
The anti-authoritarian cows, the anarchist cows.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are just, stocking up on ammo for the apocalypse and peeing wherever they want.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the thing, the thing.
I know the thing.
The thing.
Vaccine, number one way.
A pandemic special.
We have. We're going to start the Pandy special segment of the show with tired Fauci. Can we stop with this guy? He just keeps popping up.
It's only a matter of time.
For high school students, it looks like they will be available to get vaccinated in the beginning of the fall, very likely for the fall term. With regard to children, we're doing an age de-escalation study.
AIDS? What are you talking about? Children with AIDS?
Oh, play it again. Will you start it over?
An AIDS de-escalation term. With regard to children, we're doing an age de-escalation study in elementary school children from 12 to 9, 9 to 6, 6 to 2, and 6 months to 2 years. We anticipate we'll have enough data to be able to vaccinate these younger children by the first quarter of 2022.
They're coming after the children in Q1. Not happening to my child, I'll tell you that. But
babies.
It just keeps getting younger and younger. Soon it's going to be Well, they already got it's a big circle. They're trying to close the loop there. But yeah, I'm tired of Fauci. I don't know. What about you? Are you tired of Fauci? I'm sick of him.
I mean, we say it every episode. we're tired of Fauci. It's only a matter of time before his house of cards comes down.
Yeah. And I have a clip here for this one, Basil. This next one, I didn't mention it in the thing, but CTV News, it's Canada. Health Canada authorizes new names for COVID-19 vaccine. And I have the news report here by a cool guy talking about the thing.
Meantime, Canada's different vaccines are apparently getting new official names. Health Canada says going forward, the Pfizer vaccine is going to be called Comirnaty. I hope I got that right. The Moderna vaccine will be called Spike.
What is it exactly?
I think it's Comirnaty, but nobody can say it.
Comirnaty.
Did they not send out it just shows how bad of a name it is. Nobody can pronounce it. Not even right. Nobody pronounces it the same way.
Yeah, because it sounds like Illuminati, but it's Comirnaty.
Called Comirnaty. I hope I got that right. The Moderna vaccine will be called Spikevax. That one's a little easier. And the AstraZeneca shot will go by the name Vaxzevria. The agency says the vaccines didn't have proper brand names before, but now that they've been fully approved, these new names will come into effect. By the way, no changes to the actual vaccines.
The exception to that, though, is when we saw a change in the name of the variants of concern, right? Rather than calling them B16172, and all that stuff, we have Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, which I think simplified things and made things a lot easier for everybody. This does the opposite.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they'd go with, COVID Killer 1, COVID Killer 2, COVID Killer 3. That would be a lot simpler than these kind of gobbledygook names.
You know why
Funny guy.
They couldn't call it COVID Killer 1? It's because it doesn't kill COVID. You dumb guy.
Hey, easy on him. He likes the Spikevax.
Spikevax. Dun, 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 dun.
That was him. That was the guy. The anchor there.
The scariest sounding one. It does. I love it because it doesn't even try to I don't know. They're silly gooses.
Well, it's funny because even the guy in the report here who's a doctor, he's like, I think people are just going to keep using the Moderna Pfizer just because they're more comfortable with it. But if you look deeper under the hood here and you kind of think about it the way we think about things here on the show, this is a total rebrand as a marketing ploy. For one, and it's gonna, for the people that will follow along, they'll be like, oh, hey, it's it's a new thing, especially with the boosters. They're like, oh, it's new, it's different, even though clearly the guy said it's not new.
Well, this is part of the magician's trick that is branding.
Yeah,
you see it in all sorts of branding for other products all the time, where it'll literally be the exact same product.
Yeah,
but they'll change the branding, which allows them to make claims about it that simply, not that they're not true. They just don't mean anything.
Right.
This is an example is really any medication. You're looking for ibuprofen or something, and there's a couple brands of ibuprofen. They're all exactly the same, but they all claim to be the best. And branding and PR and marketing and all this, as we know and have tracked over the years, this is not just trying to think up clever, sellable names. Now, one of the reasons these names are so bad is because nobody's purchasing these. You're not having to convince somebody. You're not having to think of a better name than somebody else because, like we've been told over and over and over from health organizations around the world, including Fauci here in the U.S., it doesn't matter which one you get. Mix and match. Just get it. Just get whatever's available to you. And then, of course, turns out J&J is causing blood clots, so hopefully you didn't get that one. AstraZeneca is killing people. Hopefully you don't get that one. Pfizer, Moderna, they got their own things going on. So that's part of the reason why the branding is so bad is because it doesn't matter. But there is an aspect of magic going on with the marketing and PR.
Yeah, well, that, and then also, from the more practical point of view, this is probably to help with the SEO. There's a lot of people who have written things and talked about things that shed negative light on Pfizer, on Moderna, on AstraZeneca, especially like Pfizer. You can find Pfizer on that list of 10 most sued ever corporations. It's like number 4, number 5 or something. So if they can push out Comirnaty, it's like, oh yeah, Comirnaty, it's fresh, it's new on the SEO stuff, and that probably might help control the narrative.
You don't accidentally find out that Pfizer is a literal criminal organization.
Right.
And that Moderna has never put out a product before. You can actually just kind of avoid the unfortunate Google searches by just naming them something else.
Yeah, well, we have breaking news here.
Yeah.
I don't have a breaking news, but I have this.
Welcome to Chinese news.
It's not Chinese news, but it's might as well be. The FDA Newsweek headline: COVID booster shots. What's next as FDA panel votes against Pfizer approval?
Oh, good. I was waiting for this. I got the alert this morning, and of course, we've known that they were meeting today. And so there you go. They decided not to approve booster shots. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. You got a story? Is there a...
Yeah, let's just read it real quick. A panel of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's vaccine advisors has voted against Pfizer's request to add a third booster shot to its 2-dose regimen for those aged 16 and older, bringing a significant hurdle for the White House's booster rollout. What are they going to do with all the boosters they bought?
Well,
they're going to ship it to other countries is what they're going to do.
And this is, it's just an interesting detail is I'm over here on the Twitter trending list. I cannot find this on the Twitter trending list. You would think that this would be big enough news that people would be talking about it.
AP has the headline, so does NBC News. Yeah, everyone has it. Quote, it's unclear that everyone needs to be boosted other than a subset of the population that clearly would be at high risk for serious disease. Dr. Michael G. Kurilla, a committee member and official at the National Institute of Health, said on Friday. That's today. The panel may still clear booster shots in a narrower recommendation for older populations who are more vulnerable to severe illness due to a COVID infection, but it is unclear when a second vote could come. The decision comes days before the Biden administration anticipated offering booster shots of both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. Pending authorization from federal regulators, the White House said they would offer a third dose as early as next week for those who were first to receive their vaccines and whose immunity against COVID-19 may be waning.
Yeah.
Okay. This is before. Yeah. So, there you go. I mean,
Biden put a lot of stock in this thing. He bragged about it over and over and over about he was pushing for boosters on the 20th. And that's what led to FDA officers leaving. Of course, I've said it over and over that the head of their vaccine research and review board was stepping down because of politicization in the FDA. And here you go. You got the FDA vote. That's interesting. I did not know it was going to be a vote.
Yeah, so I knew they were meeting today.
Yeah, well, we knew the meeting, but I didn't know it was a vote.
Let's just play that Biden booster clip from that speech last Thursday real quick.
Second piece of my plan is continuing to protect the vaccinated. You're as safe as possible. And we're doing everything we can to keep it that way. Keep it that way. Keep you safe. That's where boosters come in. The shots that give you even more protection than after your second shot. Of course, the decision of which booster shots to give.
By the way.
He just says it.
He's literally just spewing words. He's not a scientist. And now, in hindsight, where they voted not to give out booster shots, we see now that Biden is literally just blah, blah, blabbing all over the place about stuff he doesn't know.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising.
First, the decision of which booster shots to give, when to start them, and who will give them will be left completely to the scientists at the FDA and the Centers for Disease Control. But while we wait, We've done our part. We bought enough boosters, enough booster shots, and the distribution system is ready to administer them.
We put the cart before the horse.
Oh
is
my
what
gosh.
he's basically saying there.
This is so embarrassing
It
for the Biden
is.
administration.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
It's got to be purposeful. This has got to be. Like one thing at a time. You see Biden lose. It's like a planned deconstruction of the presidency here. It seems.
Could be. I mean, there's a couple of angles to it. One of them is the FDA has had such a bad run at it the past few months. People completely losing faith. There are people stepping down. Even mainstream accusations of politicization of the FDA. I mean, nobody is trusting the FDA. Even when they rushed the approval of the vaccine in, 70 days or something, the fastest approval that they've done on any product. Even that, it was so suspicious.
Yeah.
And I think the FDA taking the reins on this and actually going against the Biden administration, it goes a couple ways. Number one, it could be the FDA trying to grasp for some sort of credibility. And maybe it gives it to them, maybe it doesn't. But at the same time, yeah, totally embarrassing the Biden administration, because he put a lot of stock in this. He said it over and over and over, and bragged about it.
What's going on? What are you doing?
You don't have to comment on every little thing. It was an accident. You know it was an accident. It's always an accident. I don't know it's an accident.
Is it always an accident?
I'm just telling you now. If the font changes, it's an accident. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Guns is freaking out. It changed the size of font on something on accident. But anywho, there you go. I mean, this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And now we have government purchased taxpayer dollars that pre-purchased millions of booster doses that are what? They're going to sit in a warehouse. They're going to go bad.
No, they're going to ship it to third world nations and say, look at us. We're so good helping out they're going to do the whole, because remember the World Health Organization guy, I forget his name off the top of my head here, but he was basically calling for a moratorium on boosters a few days ago. And he was saying, we got to get the poorer nations vaccinated first. So that's probably what's going to happen, So,
yeah.
There was a story about synthetic biology that I had in here. It was written by the World Economic Forum. And the headline is Lessons Learned from COVID-19 Vaccines Could Advance Synthetic Biology. Because of the Biden story here, we'll kind of just skim through this real quick. But basically, yeah, it's like the problem, reaction, solution. And the talking points here, discussions about intellectual property waivers for COVID-19 vaccines are changing the course of scientific research. The field of synthetic biology could harness this moment to enable a more democratic distribution of tools and technologies. Low and middle income countries can equitably participate in the development and use of these technologies. And they talk about how vaccines constitute a hinge event. And they talk about all the things that SynBio, 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 is probably something we're going to start hearing more of, how it can benefit the world and everything else. There's a part here that I wanted to focus in on because it's just ridiculous here. Disrupting the status quo. Central to achieving these outcomes is the recognition that across the planet there are cosmologies and epistemologies, such as indigenous ways of knowing and place-based innovation, which are not being fully tapped. Moving beyond the hierarchy that sets out Western knowledge as the prize and other knowledge as less important will be key. We believe that the ways of knowing and doing that have been marginalized, silenced, rendered invisible, are likely to add considerable value to shaping SynBio and diffusing its valuable outputs around the world. So, kind of interesting to be like, hey, Western world who think you're on the cutting edge of science, slow down. We're going to dismantle this idea that the Western world is the pinnacle of, bleeding edge of scientific development. So I thought that was interesting.
Interesting word salad too there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the World Economic Forum, and that's been their whole thing is, capitalism is dead. We must redo, ESG, the whole deal. So I thought that was interesting. I want to get into this, and then I'll let you take this first one here, Basil.
Ivermectin. I got COVID. Ivermectin. All kinds of meds. Ivermectin. Everything. Ivermectin. Boom, he took Ivermectin.
I woke up to that jingle, by the way, the other day. I woke up and the first thing that I couldn't get out of my head was that jingle.
Well, I may not be able to take this one because this is a paywall thing we have here.
Oh, I thought I put the archive link in there.
Doesn't look like it. Let me try again. Boop. Boop. Boop, boop. Go. No.
Here, I'm going to link it. There. Here, I hyperlinked it in the actual WAPO. So try that real quick.
Here I go. Beep.
In the meantime, I'll read the headline. This is Washington Post. False meme Nobel laureate did not say ivermectin cures COVID-19. It's a fact-checking by WAPO.
Right, and there's a picture here of a bearded, scholarly-looking fellow. My name is William Campbell. In 2015, I won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for the discovery of ivermectin. It cures many diseases, including COVID-19. The fake news and Big Pharma want you to live in fear. Fauci won't promote ivermectin because he is the little parasite it destroys. Oh, this is just a meme that was floating around.
Yeah.
Oh, WAPO is fact-checking memes. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the thing. It was a quote attributed to Drew University professor William Campbell, circulating on social media, such as Twitter. This quote, accompanied by an image of the Nobel laureate, is circulating widely on social media. Juanita Broderick, a prominent conservative with 500,000 followers, posted it at 11 a.m. Wednesday, and within 3 hours accumulated more than 12,000 retweets and likes. Other Twitter users have also spread the meme widely, but Barb Bresnahan, chief of staff and dean of administration at Drew University, where Campbell teaches, told the fact checker the quote is false, and the meme has been reported to Twitter. Like many fake social, the quote,
a meme.
Interesting.
It's not a quote. It's not supposed to be a quote.
Yeah, interesting too. The crux of this is they are framing it as a quote, which shows sort of a fundamental misunderstanding of memes.
Yeah.
Just because there's a picture of the guy, and it is sort of written, it does say, my name is William Campbell. In 2015, I won the Nobel Prize. They're not claiming that this is a quote from William Campbell. They're just sort of writing a first person. I mean,
it's a meme.
It's just a meme. All right. Like many fake social media posts, interesting. I'd argue it's a real post. It's just perhaps you think that the information is fake. There's a germ of truth, but it's twisted into falsehood. Ooh, Campbell, a native of Ireland, did share the Nobel Prize in Medicine with Satoshi Omura of Japan for their role in creating a therapy for infections caused by roundworm parasites. Omura cultured bacteria which produce substances that inhibit the growth of other microorganisms. In 1978, he succeeded in culturing a strain from which William Campbell purified a substance, Ivermectin, which in a chemically modified form, ivermectin proved effective against river blindness and elephantitis, the Nobel Prize Committee said. Campbell was quoted in April 2020 expressing delight at an early report that the anti-parasite drug might inhibit the novel coronavirus. Since then, there have been continuing efforts to identify whether the relative low-cost drug would be effective in treating patients with COVID-19. Omura, in March, co-authored a paper, said that, quote, although clinical trial results have been and continue to be accumulating showing that ivermectin is effective in the treatment and prevention of COVID-19, basic in vitro findings that can reasonably explain its effectiveness have not yet been obtained.
Before you go on, I'm going to tear that to shreds, but one more paragraph and then we'll get into that.
But to date, there is insufficient evidence. There's that phrase again.
Insufficient evidence.
Insufficient
I see.
Evidence that ivermectin can cure COVID-19, even though it cure. There's the cure word again,
cure,
which is not the claim either. Even though it increasingly has been embraced by vaccine skeptics. Wait. Oh my gosh.
That's actually where I wanted you to stop reading, but yes, that's
that is right there. That one sentence is filled with so many lies, myths, truths, and lies by omission. That is a golden sentence. Let me read it again. But to date, there is insufficient evidence that ivermectin can cure COVID-19, even though it increasingly has been embraced by vaccine skeptics. There are numerous reports of people being hospitalized, blah, blah, blah.
Because they medicate with ivermectin intended for livestock. No link there, by the way.
But yeah, good point. There are numerous reports of people being hospitalized because they self-medicated with ivermectin intended for livestock. They're not saying a thing, not a lick, about the people who took the human form of ivermectin, such as famous horseman Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's a debunker bunker time here.
Get to the bunker!
The debunker bunker.
I'm kind of surprised they hyperlinked the actual paper that they quote here from Omura. It's actually Omura. Satoshi Omura. And so I took a look. So it's a paper by the Japanese Journal of Antibiotics, and it is titled Global Trends in Clinical Studies of Ivermectin in COVID-19. It was written by 4 doctors, PhDs and MDs here, Satoshi Omura being one of them. And it says that it's from the Kitasato University Omura Satoshi Memorial Institute, Keio University Faculty of Pharmacy. This was published on March 10th of 2021, so it's been a few months here, but I read through it because I was like, you know what, I'm curious. It said, it's a fellow ethnic countryman, kind of, even though I'm technically American, but, my ethnic origin there. So I wanted to read it, and I thought, okay, well, what's the guy who got the Nobel Prize say about ivermectin and COVID? Let's see. So I'm kind of reading through here, and it's pretty standard, hey, they did the studies, and it seems to be pretty effective, and it's pretty straightforward. It's very it's kind of it's like a paper. It's a journal paper, so it doesn't get really too crazy, but it does have some moments of note. So the first one here is on page 3. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Ivermectin. Here we go. So it says here, ivermectin has been used for more than 30 years with more than 3.7 billion doses dispensed in Africa and Central South America to control neglected tropical diseases. It is also widely used in elderly care facilities to treat scabies in developed countries. Since it has been used so extensively, pharmaceutical companies cannot expect to earn enough money to recover invested funds, even if further development is conducted to obtain an indication for COVID-19. So it's already laying out like, okay, you're not going to make the money.
There's no profit motive to even study it.
Yes. In this pandemic, which qualifies as an important national security issue requiring multiple state of emergency declarations, there is no therapeutic drug available for treatment or prevention purposes. Ivermectin, which has already been approved and widely used, is found to be effective. Although ivermectin is a potential candidate drug, the current situation is that pharmaceutical companies are not expanding its indications to include COVID-19. Universities and medical institutions unfamiliar with drug development are conducting small-scale clinical trials initiated by doctors. There seems to be a very restricted and uneager approach to the situation. So notice how it's very cordial, it's not like really calling him out outright,
right?
But it's very like, hey, number one, we understand there's no financial incentive, but also you seem to be ignoring a lot of the facts. And it goes on, it lists all the things. So you have the link.
And, he is being very polite, because it's not just that they're ignoring the facts. It's they are...
Oh, he gets a little more explicit later.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so down on page 18, they start talking about Merck, the company Merck. And let me find... So they kind of go through the timeline of everything, as well as the studies that's been done. And I think this Merck topic is important because it kind of gives us an idea of why it's being like what's the origin of all these institutions ignoring a lot of this. Okay. Oh boy, I'm trying to. The problem with these PDFs is I can't highlight stuff, so I have to put notes down. So I gotta look for the notes as I try to read this. Oh, what happened to it? Hold on, let me try to do a word search with Merck because that might be a little quicker. Okay, so it goes. Okay, so Kitasato University, based on the judgment that it is necessary to examine the clinical effect of ivermectin to prevent the spread of uncertain COVID-19, asked Merck and Company Inc. or Merck & Co. Inc., to conduct clinical trials of ivermectin for COVID-19 in Japan. This company has priority to submit an application for an expansion of ivermectin's indications since the original approval for the manufacture and sale of ivermectin was conferred to it. However, the company said that it had no intention of conducting clinical trials. As a result, Kitasato University decided to conduct a doctor-initiated clinical trial, the decision of which was published on the 12th of May. Following the decision to start clinical trials in Japan, the status of clinical trials overseas was extensively investigated. It was then found, somewhat surprisingly, that 14 trials were already registered on clinicaltrials.gov by the 25th of May. Among them, experts for 2 trials in the U.S. All studies were conducted in developing countries where a large number of poor patients. It was also then understood that the use of inexpensive ivermectin to treat COVID-19 could potentially yield significantly great benefits. However, looking closely at the protocols of the trials in these developing countries, all of them are doctor-initiated. The scales of the trials are small due to a lack of funds. So it kind of goes into they purposely didn't want to do a big study. They kind of sprinkled some money around so that more independent doctors can do their own studies.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the one trickle down thing that people aren't realizing is there's a lack of evidence, like they keep saying, and insufficient evidence, but it's insufficient evidence because there's insufficient funding. And you can't, scientists don't just say, oh, what am I going to do today? Let's run off and do a study on ivermectin. No, you need millions of dollars to run these studies. And who pays for the studies? It's the big pharma, it's the government, it's grants from mainstream liberal nonprofits, it's things like that. It's not it's not because it doesn't exist. There's a purposeful hamstringing of the funding for these studies.
So it mentions how the FDA already has permitted the off-label use of ivermectin for certain cases. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into a thing here. As many clinicians are well familiar with clinical responses or real-world evidence and understand the actual possibility of off-label use, they naturally wish for approval to be granted for a given disease. However, a particular public law requiring regulators to consider measures for off-label use was enacted in the United States in 2016. In this act, named the, quote, 21st Century Cures Act, quote, real-world evidence is stipulated in Section 3022 of Chapter 3, Development, as a quasi-Chapter C, quote, modern trial design and evidence development section. A provision of Section 3021 requires that a, quote, novel clinical design be devised to justify real-world evidence. Thereafter, quote, real-world evidence obtained from such trials can be aimed at repurposing existing drugs. This stipulation warns that one should not disregard evaluations or reviews that adhere to old-fashioned evidence-based medicine that integrates clinical experience. Unfortunately, the law was not enforced due to the change of government in the United States, and it is now too late due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This would have otherwise been the most appropriate proof of its legislative significance. So I thought that was kind of interesting that there's a legislative loophole here that it looks like if it was fully enacted, then they would have had like a legislative, a little bit of legislative weight in the U.S. to at least push it forward a little bit more. But it seems like that's not the case. Now I'm going to skip down here to page 30. It goes through all of the FLCCC data gathered, the stuff we've talked about from like, and compiled with the Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance and everything else. And this gets into kind of the kicker here of everything. So I find myself on page 31 here, and the section is titled, "Is Ivermectin Not Suitable for COVID-19 Treatment?" And, gosh, I don't want to read the entire thing, but I think I will to some extent. It's only a couple pages. Immediately after Kaylee's paper was published online, the Mectin Expert Committee, which runs the MDP, issued a statement that the concentration required to suppress the SARS-CoV-2 virus shown in the in vitro experiments was too high when compared to that obtained by the FDA-approved dose. When such a high dose is administered to obtain such a concentration in the body, there are concerns that severe side effects will occur. It was pointed out that since this was such a fundamental finding, it alone was sufficient to justify the ineffectiveness of ivermectin use against COVID-19. The opinion of Merck has persisted, and both the NIH and the IDSA have said that it is the fundamental component comprising the dissenting opinion for the use of ivermectin against COVID-19. The Pan-American Health Organization, which is the America's branch of the World Health Organization, also cited the same statement and opposed the use of ivermectin for COVID-19. The PAHO, which is the Pan-American Health Organization, statement also emphasized that ivermectin is not included in the Solidarity Trial, an evaluation study of repurposing drugs for COVID-19 being conducted by the WHO. The clinical effect of ivermectin on COVID-19 is manifested as described in a subsequent statement from the FLCCC by not only the suppression of SARS-CoV-2 replication, but also in the effects on the binding of the virus to the host cell, as well as effects on the host's own inflammatory responses. This argument that it is based on such a complex mechanism is not taken into consideration at all, and the argument remains that it is only about the pharmacodynamics of ivermectin. It has also been stated that considering the purpose of MDP activities, if ivermectin is used in large quantities against COVID-19 as an off-label use, the market would quickly run out of ivermectin. The WHO even issued a warning that currently stock supplies of the drug ivermectin might not remain adequate for patients with fecal nematodes and scabies if the drug is used for other purposes. So it goes on and kind of gives all the reasoning for, why the WHO and everybody are rejecting it. However, the question has been raised as to whether it is ethically correct to oppose, for such reasons, the use of ivermectin against COVID-19. There are already dozens of clinical trial results that have been accumulated to date that demonstrate that ivermectin is effective against COVID-19. Hundreds of thousands of people worldwide are being infected, and thousands continue to die every day. The debate over whether ivermectin is not suitable for COVID-19 treatment has always been taken up at the FLCCC webinar every Wednesday at 7 p.m. It was also discussed at the British Ivermectin Recommendation Development Conference, BIRD, that the British Ivermectin Recommendation Development.
Birds aren't real.
Organized by Lowry of EBMC, with attendance of more than 70 ivermectin researchers from around the world. The BIRD conclusions were also submitted to the WHO after a summarization of the opinions from all the participants. So all these organizations worldwide are saying, like, hey, it works. So why aren't we moving forward? Like, why aren't we doing more here? Worldwide, a total of 91 studies, 80 for treatment and 11 for prevention of onset and close contacts, are being conducted in 27 countries. Then it goes into Merck here, and Merck came out with a statement. Okay, so contrary to speculation, Merck & Co. released a company statement dated 4th of February 2021, stating that, quote, company scientists continue to carefully examine the findings of all available and emerging studies of ivermectin for the treatment of COVID-19 for evidence of efficacy and safety. It is important to note that, to date, our analysis has identified, again, this is Merck speaking, 1, no scientific basis for a potential therapeutic effect against COVID-19 from preclinical studies. 2, no meaningful evidence for clinical activity for clinical efficacy in patients with COVID-19 disease. And 3, a concerning lack of safety data in a majority of studies, end quote. This Merck statement cites the package insert for Stromectol, a product that the company sells, and describes detail of the product's indication and the known adverse events. It might be understandable that Merck has issued the statement with the intention of exempting the company from being liable for any adverse events caused by off-label use of the product for the treatment or prevention of COVID-19. For that purpose, Merck's statement regarding the 3 items described above would not have caused any extra controversy without a description of the efficacy and safety of ivermectin for COVID-19. It has, however, created a big argument among the scientists involved in COVID-19 clinical studies, leading to controversy over the company's management stance. I'm getting to the finale here. I know I'm kind of rambling on and reading this, but I think it's important. Okay, so the FLCCC Alliance issued an official statement on the 7th of February addressing the 3 items presented by Merck. Such statements are significantly different from the results of ivermectin in terms of the efficacy and safety reported by multiple experts groups around the world, including a meta-analysis of the latest scientific literature. In this controversy, the FLCCC Alliance side has refuted Merck's allegations by citing recently published papers from 8 groups around the world, 5 of which were published in 2021 and 2 in November and December 2020. Official views issued by the NIH on the 14th of January, and 16 other papers. However, Merck did not provide any scientific basis to support the 3 items claimed in their statement. As a consequence, the debate has now gone silent. Regarding the efficacy of COVID-19, it may be argued that there is a disagreement surrounding the scale of individual trials cited as scientific support, and that the evaluations of the content of the studies are different. However, regarding the safety of ivermectin, Merck itself has announced on its public relations page that there were very few serious adverse events in the MDP over a period of more than 30 years. So contradictory points have been raised as to why there are concerns about limiting safety in the use of ivermectin for COVID-19. All right, let me get to the main part here. I got to find the kicker, the slam. Okay, regulators claim that, quote, there is not enough evidence to accept it. Kind of like that WAPO article we just had.
Yeah,
but the
insufficient evidence.
Yep, but the safety level of ivermectin has already been achieved by means of the MDP granting more than 3 billion doses to individuals over 30 years. They argue that there is no clear or sufficient evidence, and that safety assurance when used with COVID-19 patients is inadequate. This is a situation where ethics should be questioned as to whether it is permissible to ban patients whose lives may be able to be saved by administering ivermectin only because absolute safety is not guaranteed. There is a need to state a legitimate reason as to why there is hesitation to use an already effectively confirmed drug such as ivermectin in patients with COVID-19 who could possibly even expect to be cured with its use. I mean, they even went there. They might be able to cure it. Regulators argue that existing data of the efficacy of ivermectin for COVID-19 are biased in its study plans and methods and are insufficient to determine validity. A meta-analysis of 14,906 patients in the 42 clinical trials described above has shown sufficient efficacy of ivermectin with a 1 in 4 trillion chance of the conclusion being a mistake. It's crazy. Yet, it is still considered insufficient evidence. Randomized control trials are regarded important by regulators. There are 21 trials employing 2,869 patients out of 42 studies. If regulators argue that studies of this magnitude are inadequate to allow the clinical use of ivermectin in COVID-19, then legitimate and compelling explanations for such judgments should be required. And it goes on here. I mean, there's more slams of the World Health Organization, the NIH, the FDA. But, I mean, strong words coming from a scientist.
A big one.
A major scientist that discovered ivermectin. And look, this guy discovered it. But why would he, promote something if it wasn't truly effective? Because
he's part
just a
of
conspiracy
some
theorist.
conspiracy theorist. Yeah.
So I thought that was very enlightening in terms of, how they're able to, in the mainstream media, in the big pharma companies, how they're able to sort of finagle their way through saying, oh, there's no evidence. Oh, there's no evidence. Like Fauci repeating it over and over again. It's like these little slight games happening in the background. I think it's shed light on some of that, the politics involved in medicine. And it becomes very clear to me that it is a political thing. It is not a scientific thing whatsoever, because the scientist is clearly saying, hey, the science is there. So the fact that you guys aren't moving forward, we need a much better explanation for why, because we keep giving you the science and you keep saying, trust the science. So, what's the deal?
Will you give that guy's name again?
Yes, it is Satoshi Omura. Satoshi Omura. Let me just wrap it up here. This is the end of the article or the paper here. When the effectiveness of ivermectin for COVID-19 pandemic is confirmed with the cooperation of researchers around the world and its clinical use is achieved on a global scale, it could prove to be of great benefit to humanity. It may even turn out to be comparable to the benefits achieved from the discovery of penicillin, said to be one of the greatest discoveries of the 20th century. Here, one more use for ivermectin, which has been described as miracle or wonder drug, is being added. History has demonstrated that the existence of such natural product-derived compounds with such diverse effects is exceedingly rare. However, in order to pass on to posterity the fact that ivermectin has become widely used to control the world-shattering COVID-19 pandemic, only one simple action is required: the addition of only one word, COVID-19, to the 9th item of the 11 listed under the antiviral category in the Ivermectin, the future section of the Nobel Lectures record entitled Splendid Gift from the Earth. And speaking of which, I have the link to the NIH website from 2011, February. Ivermectin, wonder drug from Japan, the human use perspective. And it says here that discovered in 1970, originating solely from a single microorganism isolated at the Kitasato Institute, Tokyo, Japan, from Japanese soil, is now being used free of charge as the sole tool in campaigns to eliminate both diseases globally. Mentions, what diseases were they? Some parasitic diseases there. It has also been used to successfully overcome several other human diseases, and new uses for it are continually being found. This paper looks in depth at the events surrounding ivermectin's passage from being a huge success in animal health into its widespread use in humans, a development which has led many to describe it as a wonder drug. The NIH calling ivermectin a wonder drug in 2011. But now, of course,
it's turntables.
Now, of course, it's your crazy conspiracy theorist that should not be listened to. But yeah, sorry for the long read there, but I don't know. I found it very interesting that, you get a glimpse of some of the hanky-panky going on behind the scenes to allow for the narrative to persist in the mainstream. You have Merck as a major player in there. They kind of did a loophole where it's like, well, we don't want to be liable for the off-label stuff, so we're going to put this thing out there that's not effective to protect our product and our brand or whatever, and that's being used by others to justify this narrative that it doesn't work. And I don't know. It's frustrating. It makes me mad that it's like, it's so obvious. If we're going to trust science, why not trust Nobel Prize winners? The double speak from all these people and institutions is pretty ridiculous. But anyway.
That's right. Well, as the Ivermectin battle rages on, Gons, we can't believe the science about the possibility of Ivermectin being an effective therapeutic for COVID. But, we might as well, Ivermectin having a 30-year history being given to billions of people around the world. But we've got this coming from scientificamerican.com. And the headline.
Oh wait, sorry, wrong jingle.
No, that's the right jingle.
Is it? Oh no, it is the right jingle. Yeah, I got it. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
right.
tired.
How the pandemic is changing mental health. Necessity is the mother of invention, and 2020 pushed the world like never before to find creative solutions to a litany of challenges. First and foremost, in the medical field, from Except for Ivermectin. From drug discovery.
The thing that's existed for 30 years.
From drug discovery to vaccine manufacturing to care delivery, COVID has animated clinicians, researchers, entrepreneurs, and policymakers to radically rethink every facet of the healthcare ecosystem. While COVID is a prima facie, a physical malady, the disease has placed a massive burden on already strained mental health systems around the world. Prior to the pandemic, mental health conditions were a leading cause of disability worldwide. Rates of diagnosis have been rising across all age demographics for years, costing the global economy an estimated $1 trillion annually. And the impact on the young has been particularly devastating. Suicide is now second only to accidents and deaths among teenagers. Since the beginning of 2020, the situation has deteriorated further. The U.S. has seen a large increase in adults reporting symptoms of anxiety and depression, and the impacts on children will likely reverberate for years to come. Yet there is a reason for cautious optimism. COVID, they put it in all caps, has forced us to confront this growing issue, and innovative thinkers have stepped up to the challenge. From far-flung fields, they have brought solutions to a problem that once looked intractable. Work has begun on building systems to ensure that populations are not only physically safe, but mentally well. Systems modeling techniques from the finance world. Good, yes, the finance world. Yes, the classic finance world where everything is good and happy and there's no corruption or greed that fuels the entire ecosystem. But systems modeling techniques from the finance world now forecast mental health incidents. Smartphone capabilities are being leveraged to create digital models. Good, love those digital models. They always work out great. Of disease progression to detect and monitor cognitive health. By the way, that's a secret little code sentence there for the algorithms. The Facebook and smartphone privacy invasions are monitoring your mental health. Major initiatives have begun to map the brain and discover therapeutic targets. Psychedelics, once maligned, are being given a second look for everything from post-traumatic stress disorder to depression and end-of-life anxiety. The venture capital world is incredibly bullish on mental health, pumping more than
weird way to put it. Scientific American. We're bullish on mental health.
Right. Again, it's being used as like venture capital world is incredibly bullish. The venture capitalists, the hedge funders, the angel investors, those horrible humans driven by greed who have caused so many problems in the world. I'm sure not all of them are horrible humans, but it's just a weird praise to be lavishing on the problem here. The venture capital world is incredibly bullish on mental health, pumping more than $2.4 billion into digital tools for physicians and patients in the last year alone. With all this in mind, the World Economic Forum's Global Future Council on Mental Health, a diverse group with expertise in psychiatry, neuroscience, psychology, public health, technology, informatics, business, public policy, and advocacy, set out to highlight the most innovative and game-changing advances in mental health. Let's change the game. The council sifted through more than 60 nominations with an eye for solutions that are novel, bridge current gaps in access or care, improve on existing ways of doing things, have the highest near-term potential to spur progress in society, and enhance people's mental lives. That is a weird phrase also. Enhance people's mental lives. It's not mental health, not improve mental health.
No, Basil.
Enhance mental lives.
Well, we are going into the metaverse, It's all going to be virtual. Everything is going to be happening more mentally than physically,
Yeah, yes, we must enhance the mental life. We sincerely hope our list stimulates progress to create a better world for everyone offering or suffering from mental ill health. At the same time, we recognize that a future where mental health is taken seriously and escapes the stigma that it currently surrounds it is not inevitable. Societies have an opportunity to advance these efforts through research and outreach, as Douglas Adams of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fame wrote in The Independent, quote, "Trying to predict the future is a mug's game. But increasingly, it's a game we all have to play because the world is changing so fast, and we need to have some sort of idea of what the future actually is going to be like, because we are going to have to live there probably next week." This was an opinion piece and an analysis article by... who was it? Dun, dun, dun.
P. Murali, Doraiswamy, Cameron
Fox, Joshua Gordon. Took 3 authors to write this.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. We have a huge influx in support, not just from venture capitalists, but also the World Economic Forum, and interesting how psychedelics was included in that.
Yeah,
among other things, technology and psychedelics really was the 2 main points they brought up. I mean, you notice what they're talking about. They're talking about technology and psychedelics. It's like, okay, great, wonderful transhumanist plan for the future of enhancing mental lives.
Yeah, therapy apps, telehealth, lay counselors, and psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, are poised to change the foundations of caregiving.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. It's like, oh, Doc, I'm not feeling good. Want to go on a ride?
Well, it's interesting because you have now psychedelic research has been going on for many, many years. It's also gone off for many, many years. The war on drugs made studying psychedelics very complicated, and so it has not gotten as much research as it probably should have, considering research started in the 50s and 60s. But, you compare it to Ivermectin, which has had billions of doses given out, won a Nobel Prize, and it's all, to help this pandemic where, we really should be trying everything we possibly can. And they are framing the mental health issue as another pandemic, which I think is a legit framing of the mental health crisis in the world and especially in the U.S.
Maybe even more of an issue than the actual virus that they're rolling out.
Suicide deaths are much higher than deaths from COVID over the past 2 years. But the problem is, a lot of the mental health problems are being caused by the technocracy, caused by social media, caused by distrust and sorrow in one's life, a lot of it because of COVID as well. So you have 2 parallel pandemics, one COVID, one mental health objectively killing more than COVID. And so, there's this same attitude in the mental health pandemic of, oh, we just got to get in there. We got to try everything. Let's just do psychedelics. Let's make that more of a thing. Put on the psychedelic research. And look, everybody knows my sort of libertarian views on drugs. I don't think they should be illegal. I understand that's a inflammatory view to have, but in general, I trust adults to make choices in their own life, and I don't believe you can legislate everybody's actions. It's just another vector for government control. But they are wide open to the possibilities of this incredibly less studied quote unquote medication or medicine or whatever of psilocybin, and yet ivermectin, which has mountains of data over its 30 years of implementation, and they're holding back on ivermectin. I'm not saying necessarily hold back on loosening drug laws or letting people who are in severe times try. It's like Trump's right to try law. That's what he passed to try to let people use hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and stuff in the early days of the pandemic. You know what? Fine. If it's in a clinical setting and it's steered correctly and right dosage like ivermectin, psilocybin dosage would be everything. But I just think it's ironic how there's such a battle against ivermectin and yet such free mainstream free expression to promote the use of psychedelics for a parallel pandemic. I don't know. I just find it ironic.
It feels like the venture capitalists are suffering their own form of mental health issues, what's called SOS, shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
Because if they really wanted to help people, they would pour in the money, which they have plenty of, to looking for an actual objective cure for COVID, wouldn't cure or treatment or whatever for COVID. Mm-hmm. Something like ivermectin, already done a lot of research, but hey, let's put more money into it, make sure it works, blah, blah, whatever. Make sure people have enough of it, whatever. But instead, they're like, ooh, let's just try to fund the mental health. Let's be bullish on mental health because.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's all about the money. Ivermectin is an out of patent thing. You can't make a lot of money on ivermectin, so you don't put the money into the research, et cetera, et cetera. However, like this entire article was about how profitable.
Yeah.
This mental health pandemic can be. And that's why the mental health pandemic is, getting the money to try new things like clinical psychedelics and things like that. I mean, you put the Scientific American article right up against what was it? Any ivermectin article in the mainstream.
Oh, yeah.
And it's blatant.
Yeah.
There's two pandemics. One can make more money for a new, off-book treatment, while the other one, there's no money to be made. And so you can put them side by side, and the difference becomes clear, and you can see who's really running not just the world, but also running the outcome of these pandemics. It's those with the money, the sources of money, the distributors of money, because really that's all Anthony Fauci is. He's a distributor of money. He's the head of the NIH. He decides who gets the research grants.
He's head of NIAID. He's not head of NIH. That's
sorry. Yeah.
That's Francis Collins there.
You're right.
Yeah.
But he's the guy who signs the checks for the grants for all sorts of research. And put Francis Collins in there, put Bill Gates in there, the three amigos. Those are the guys controlling the money that could find treatments for COVID, but there's no money in it. And so therefore, we put that side by side with the psychedelic research and how bullish these venture capitalist bros are. That when a venture capitalist bro is bullish, they're not bullish because they want to solve the problem or help people's mental state. They want to make money. And that's what it's all about. And that's why the vaccine has been the only thing pushed as the way to end the COVID pandemic, is because that's where the money is. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah, and it's the subheading here, therapy apps. Can you imagine if you're a venture capitalist, and I'm not saying all of them, some of them maybe, their thinking is, COVID has really affected us mentally, Try this app, though. This app will help you.
Right.
It'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
I put in $10 million to develop it. Here, this app. It's just like, what in the
It's
world?
freemium. Don't worry, it's free until
it's free, even though we're harvesting all of your brain data as we do it. But it's okay. It's free. Yeah,
exactly.
It's out of control.
Yep.
On the far end of the other spectrum, there we got a little update from old Bessie.
Bessie.
Oh, this is Bess Levin, our favorite. Can we call her a reporter? I don't even know.
A person who writes.
She's an op-ed writer, is what she is.
Oh, and it's a Space Pope reptilian update too.
Oh, good.
Space Pope reptilian.
It's a combo.
Over at Vanity Fair there. She's got her own section called the Levin Report.
Well, I'm sure she does.
She's like the Chris Shilzilla of Vanity Fair.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
Yeah. The headline here, Pope Francis tells vaccine skeptics to stop being idiots and get their shots.
Oh, cool. Great. I'm glad Bess Levin is here to keep us updated on what the Pope has to say.
Did the Pope actually say that? Or is this another Bev Levin?
No, it's Bess Levin. Of
Bess
course
Levin.
He didn't say that. That's just her being ridiculous.
We just had an article about Washington Post, debunking a quote from a meme.
Yeah.
So how come we can't? Washington Post. Why aren't you debunking this quote from the Pope by Bess Levin?
Yeah,
same level.
Well, they're on the same team, so.
18 months into the COVID-19 pandemic, many people are feeling deeply frustrated. Frustrated that life still isn't back to normal. Frustrated that they still can't plan for the future. And frustrated mostly with the individuals of this country who still, even after the deaths of more than 666,000 people in the United States, won't
Bess Levin reporting on the Pope and using 666 in the same article.
She knows what she was doing.
Good for her.
Won't take the virus seriously or do the one thing that we know will help stop it in its tracks. Ivermectin, no. I.e., get vaccinated. And we don't mean frustrated in the way where you're
we're frustrated that you're not reading the science or the numbers about the vaccine. 80% COVID hospitalizations in Israel, just for an update for everybody, are at an all-time high, even higher than the peak of the pandemic. 85% of those COVID cases are vaccinated people. And, the argument usually is, well, there's less people, getting sick. So actually it means the vaccine's working. No, they have more sick people than ever. And they're all double and triple vaccinated. They're quadruple vaccinating in Israel. And still they have the highest numbers they have ever had, Bess Levin.
Okay. And we don't mean frustrated in the way where you're like, oh, that's kind of annoying, but what are you going to do? But where you want to grab these people by the shoulders and yell, quote, Christ on a crutch. What the heck is wrong with you? She'd use a HE double hockey stick.
Christ on a crutch. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
What does that even mean? Okay, whatever.
I don't know.
Christ on a crutch.
I think she's trying to shake the religious people up here.
I guess, yeah. She's got a theme going. She's got 666, Christ on a crutch, the Pope.
She wants to grab these people by the shoulders and yell, Christ on a crutch, what the heck is wrong with you? And then tape their mouths shut when they start talking about how they are still doing their research into vaccines.
Wow.
Weird.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's not fascist or like troublesome or tyrannical or just like plain evil.
How is this allowed to be published? She sounds like she should just be posting on a Facebook page. Just some crazy lady, crazy Karen with a Facebook.
Tie people up, tape their mouths shut, yell at them. And so, yeah, that's great. It was good, Vanity Fair.
One of those extremely frustrated people is President Joe Biden, who last week at the White House exasperately exasperatedly noted that, quote, despite having an unprecedented and successful vaccination program, despite the fact that for almost 5 months, free vaccines have been available at 80,000 different locations, we still have nearly 80 million Americans who have failed to get the shot. And then asked, what more is there to wait for? What more do you need to see? Get vaccinated. We've made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient. The vaccine has FDA approval. Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot, which does not mean you're vaccinated. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and the refusal has cost all of us. I'm picturing Bess Levin when Biden was doing that part of the speech. Just like getting all pumped, like, oh yeah,
no, she's loving it. She's wringing her hands
And another one is Pope Francis, who, like Biden, can't figure out WTF is wrong with these anti-vaxxers. Per the Associated Press, there's a block quote here. Pope Francis said Wednesday he didn't understand why people refused to take COVID-19 vaccines, saying, quote, humanity has a history of friendship with vaccines, and that serene discussion about the shots was necessary to help them. Quote, even in the College of Cardinals, there are some negationists, Francis said Wednesday en route home from Slovakia. He noted that one of them, quote-unquote, poor guy, had been hospitalized with the virus. That was an apparent reference to U.S. Cardinal Raymond Burke, who was hospitalized in the U.S. and placed on a ventilator last month after contracting the virus. Speaking to reporters, is back to Bess. Speaking to reporters, Francis seemed to suggest that Burke, like others who have been hospitalized or died for no good reason, was what the Bible refers to as a, quote, F-king idiot.
Yeah, well, Bess Levin, she went to seminary, so she knows what's in the Bible.
At least she censored herself there. I mean, usually she just flat out writes all the words.
It is strange. She is sort of censoring herself in this article. Believe it or not, folks.
Yeah,
This is your first time listening to us read a Bess Levin article. This is a fairly clean version of her writing.
It's like she knew that she'd get readers from conservatives or religious people, so she was like, oh, let me just go easy on the F-bombs.
I mean, you know what Bess Levin does, if you don't know, is she is a feel-good Vanity Fair writer. So what she does is she spews hate and mean words and blasphemies onto the page to sort of like as a catharsis for frustrated people to feel seen and feel good about themselves and their own choices to get vaccinated.
Yep. Francis also brought up the fact that anti-vaxxers have vaccines to thank for not having to worry about things like polio anymore. How many polio shots do we need? Do we need a polio booster every 4 months?
Well, the problem is the polio vaccine works.
Quote, it's a bit strange because humanity has a history of friendship with vaccines, Francis said, noting that for decades children have been vaccinated against measles, mumps, and polio,
we
blah,
hear
blah,
this
blah.
all
We know,
the time.
yes.
We get it. Other vaccines exist. Wow, what a great point.
Previously, the Vatican has said that it is morally acceptable for Catholics to get vaccinated against COVID-19, including ones based on research. Including ones based on research?
Including.
Oh, that use cells from aborted fetuses. Oh, aborted feces. In January, the Pope declared that not getting vaccines known to be safe and effective is, quote, suicidal denialism.
Ooh.
And not only that, the right-wing network... Oh, you got something on the suicidal denialism?
I was going to say, there is a mental health pandemic.
Yeah, there you go.
They're basically, by their logic, they're sitting here writing hate pieces about suicidal people. That's not very woke of them.
Yeah. And not only that, the right-wing network, whose hosts peddle anti-vaccine programming nightly, is taking a harsher line on testing than the president they claim is a COVID-19 dictator. Funny how that worked out, per Guardian, and it mentions how Fox Corporation...
Weird, because they've never been anti-vax. It's just...
I know, they never have.
It's just Bess Levin being told by her liberal friends, her coastal elite friends, something on Fox that she's never actually seen, and they've never actually said.
Yeah, she just quotes everybody from here on out, so there's not much more to it.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
You'll never believe it, but it appears that he's not even trying and may have just said it to get people off his back about the barbaric law he signed banning abortion at 6 weeks with no Okay, so now we're talking about abortion.
Barbaric. No, I love this. This is the view. The barbaric idea that you can't kill unborn babies. So barbaric. Why can't we just be civilized and kill unborn babies like the enlightened beings that we are? Instead, we're barbarians letting children live their lives.
According to statistics from the Texas Department of Public Safety shared by CNN, as of August 2021, there were 5,298 untested sexual assault kits, including 1,716 kits within the DPS Crime Lab system, in addition to 3,582 kits that remain with law enforcement agencies across the state that have not submitted.
I would love to see those numbers for New York or California.
Yeah.
I guarantee that those numbers are higher in New York.
I thought we were talking about vaccines, though.
No, she's just spewing. She's done. I don't know. Do you want to finish it out? Is there something?
California. It kind of just ends.
No, it's just word barf. Yeah, and then she just ends about.
She had a great start. Mm-hmm. We're frustrated. Repetition.
She's got a great job, man. Think of this gig. She doesn't actually have to do any research. She doesn't have to know any facts. She doesn't need to do anything. All she needs to do is get really, really mad, get really, really angry, and then just sort of put that all down on a page and hyperlink some other Vanity Fair articles, and she gets paid the big bucks. That's why it's the Levin Report, baby.
Sounds like something there's got to be a certain point where you're searing your own conscience for a paycheck to write stuff like this.
Well, no, because she's got clinical psychedelics available. She's just
She's tripping on mushrooms, having a glass of wine. I'm going to change the world with my writing.
Chatting with her online robot therapist on her app, popping some mushrooms and writing a crazy nonsense article with no value except to make other liberals feel good about themselves.
So
good job, Bessie.
This headline is debunked. But Pope Francis did not call people idiots.
That's
for
true.
Not taking the vaccine.
You done got debunked, Bessie.
Fake news, Bessie.
Fake news, Bessie. That's her name. All right. Well, I think
I'm tired.
Should. Well, the thing is with this Vanity Fair, she makes a lot of money because they do a lot of advertising on Vanity Fair.
They do.
So I think it's our time to do some advertising, Gons, and let's hit the break.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
All right, folks. Today, this show is brought to you by Uncle Joe's Boy, Your Hair Smells Terrific, the presidentially approved shampoo, now with a new scent, Stink Minority, to liven your day and signal to your lizard overlords that you're ready to infiltrate those darn anti-vax communities. And so go out there, folks, buy some Uncle Joe's Boy, Your Hair Smells Terrific, in new Stink Minority scent. Every bottle of shampoo that you purchase will go directly to support your favorite independent podcasters. That's us. That's you and me, Gons.
Stink Minority.
Thanks to Runk Smash for sending me that idea for an advertisement. No, you get it. We're joking, folks. We don't do any advertisements, no affiliate codes, no super secret mail enhancement supplements. Nope. That's right. We are entirely independent on the value for value model, which has its ups and downs, of course. But we've decided long ago that doing advertisements on the show, which includes collecting your trust and your what are you barfing at over there?
No, I'm not barfing.
Did you smell the Stink Minority shampoo?
No, I just moved and then my back popped and
yes,
it's painful.
Well, there you go, folks. So where was I? Yes. So, we get it. A lot of independent people out there, they do advertising. They may even justify it by saying that, we only advertise things that we use and that we trust. And you know what? That's okay. Whatever they got to do to keep their projects going, that's okay. But personally here, We don't believe in gaining your trust, gaining your time and your attention, just so we can package it up and put it on a truck and ship it off as if it were some commodity that belongs to us and that we would, have the right to sell. Because that's what advertising is. That is a piece of media that you watch, gathering up your trust and attention and selling it to an advertiser for their own personal gain. And I get it, it's a tough time, but advertising has created a very easy system that, in our opinion, is a trap. Because once you get used to taking those advertising dollars, all you got to do is sell Thunder Pants or Uncle Joe's shampoo, and then you just get to keep saying what you're saying. The problem is, once you start taking that advertising money, you are then held to account by your advertisers. They can say, well, we're not going to be able to advertise if you talk about this. Oh, you talked a lot about Ivermectin. That's an unverified thing. We can't really be associating our brands with such crazy misinformation. Whatever the case may be, we decided long ago that advertising is not the way to go, because we trust our listeners to participate in the value for value model. And the value for value model is very simple. We create value, we do it 3 times a week, and we try our very hardest. And you have the opportunity or the responsibility to put value back into the system. It's an act of taking responsibility for your own media future, because you really do have a choice. You can continue to, with your actions, tell media creators that, just advertise. That's okay. Just stay on the company dime. Just keep yourselves under the foot of the mainstream storylines. Or you can take responsibility and support the independent producers that you appreciate and that you trust. That keeps them free, keeps us free, not just ad free, but free from corporate money and free from the influence that is invading all sorts of sources of media. So there you go. The choice is yours. And those who do support the show, they're called producers, because this is the real world. If you pay to have a piece of media produced, you are a producer, and we like to thank them right now. Gons, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wow, he's ready, I think, guys. So the first way that you can become a producer of the show is by heading over to patreon.com/CCNT. This is for people who want to sign up and support the show on a monthly basis. And Gons, we have an upgraded producer over there on the Patreon, and that is producer Dylan. Thank you very much, producer Dylan. Now, we also have patreon.com/CanaryCry.Radio. You are currently listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Canary Cry Radio is our, interview style show that we've been doing since 2012. So we recommend you definitely go check that out on your podcast player. But we like to thank those producers here as well. And you know what, Gons? Producer Dylan went ahead and upgraded over there as well. We got double producer Dylan.
Double Dylan.
Thanks, Double Dylan. And we also had an upgrading producer, and that's producer Blake over there as well.
Thank you, producer Blake.
Very much. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like Patreon. That's okay. You don't have to like Patreon. That's why we have CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. That's right. The new and improved CanaryCry.Radio.com/support has all sorts of fun options for supporting the show. You can support the show with your cryptocurrency. You can become a monthly producer. That really helps lay down a firm foundation if you want to commit to keeping the show going on a monthly basis. But if commitment's not your thing, you can go ahead and make a one-time producership in any amount. Gons, who do we have coming in over there?
All right. We're going to thank a lot of people today. Thank you all the producers that came in, Knights and Dames as well.
Wonderful showing.
First up, we have Heather Is it L? I. Heather I.
It's Heather Us.
Oh, Heather Us. Oh, it's Heather Us.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you very much. Heather and Russ. Heather Us, they are on a streak.
Ooh. Which one should I do here? Because they're on
we missed one of their we missed their streak last episode, so they have been supporting the show for 4 episodes in a row. But first, let's hit them with, okay, so they are heating up. Heather Us is heating up.
He's heating up.
That's right. And Heather Us is our executive producer for this episode 390.
Oh, I moved stuff around. Here it is.
Where'd you find this?
I got to get used to the new layout.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Heather Us. They came in with $246.14 and say, Happy Friday. We thought some biblical prophecy would be a good end to this week. Reading Matthew 24:7-14 helps whenever I'm discouraged. It's a reminder of why the world is in such peril. Ultimately, it's proof that men cannot govern without the guidance of our Creator. Yeah, amen. To all of the subscribers that haven't donated yet, quote, you will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. That's a good message from our executive producer. Thank you. Much love. This is from Captain Russ and his number 1, Heather of the starship Corintheus, a.k.a. Heather Us. P.S. Basil, I know the Star Trek intro by heart. You nailed it. Our goal is to hit supernova at warp speed. Mm-hmm. And then they have the scripture here, Matthew 24:6-14. You are going to hear of wars and reports of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for these things must take place. But the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be food shortages and earthquakes in one place after another. All these things are a beginning of pangs of distress. Then people will hand you over to tribulation and will kill you, and you will be hated by all the nations on account of my name. Then too many will be stumbled and will betray one another and will hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and mislead many, and because of the increasing lawlessness, the love of the greater number will grow cold. But the one who has endured to the end will be saved. And this good news of the kingdom will be preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all nations, and then the end will come. Thank you very much, our executive producer, Heather Us. Amen. Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated.
Yeah, are they knights/dames yet?
No. They just started 4 episodes ago. They got demooched 4 episodes ago and been producing ever since.
It's moving quickly for them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have our associate executive producer for episode 390, and that goes to Scott K.
Thank you very much, Scott K., our associate executive producer for episode 390. And it's a big day, Gons, because Scott is on a streak.
They're on a streak.
That's right, Scott K. He's done it. He's been supporting the show for 50 episodes in a row, which means it's his Nifty 50 Jubilee Jamboree.
This is the Nifty 50 Jubilee Jamboree. Booyah. Booyah. Nifty 50 Jubilee, that's what it is.
Booyah, baby. And Scott K comes in with $150.50 and a note here. 50 episodes. Want to be knighted, just haven't produced enough yet. On my way, keeping the streak going. So happy to make it to Jubilee. Well, we're happy you made it too, Scott K. You're only the second person to ever do it, so you are on the forefront, making it happen. And you've got to be the lion's share towards knighting. I'm sure you're doing your own accounting over there, but thank you very much, Scott K. We're happy to have you on the streak, on our crowd of streakers, and of course, our associate executive producer for today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Scott K. And yeah, very generous. We're looking forward to knighting you in the future there. Next up, we have Michael C.
Michael C. He's one of our Satoshi producers. He came in with 310,033 Satoshis for all you Bitcoin kids out there. Thank you very much, crypto producer Michael C. And he sends a note here. Hey, Basil and Gons, here's my tithe. Thank you for the consistent quality value you add to my week during work. Take care, keep the faith, and you are appreciated. Shalom and love from Montana, Sir Michael, Knight of the Busy Bees. P.S. Can you play the These Girls Be Practicin' Witchcraft jingle for upcoming spooky season?
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
It is spooky season's coming up, so we get to play the Practicin' Witchcraft jingle some more. Thank you very much, Crypto Knight, Sir Michael, Knight of the Busy Bees. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Sir Michael. Next up, we have a...
you know what?
Yeah?
I'm sorry. Sir Michael is an associate executive producer as well.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
So Sir Michael, Knight of the Busy Bees, associate executive producer of episode 390. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another Knight coming in here. Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian.
Ooh, it's been a while. Yeah, this is Sir Dylan. Sir Dylan is a triple producer today. Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian, coming in with 5180. I fell behind on Patreon. This is a makeup donation. Patreon donations are back in action. God has blessed you, brothers. Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian, thank you very, very much. And yeah, you know what? You got to give it to Sir Dylan. He didn't notice that his Patreon stuff got all out of whack, and it wasn't going through every month. And so he came in and made up for it. And this does remind me, these subscription plans that we do have through PayPal and Patreon and all these things, oftentimes we get cancellations all the time. And we have to remember that it's not people saying, oh, I don't want to support the show anymore, I'm out of here. A lot of it is just, cards get... they either get declined and it'll cancel the entire subscription, or the card will expire, or sometimes Patreon and PayPal, we've heard from many producers, they will just cancel it without them even knowing, and they won't tell them. So yeah. I think if you're out there and you think that you are on a prescription plan, if you think you're on a monthly
we should
support,
call it a prescription plan. Just a good old dose of truth every
Take
your
day.
Medicine.
Yeah. If you're on a monthly prescription plan and you haven't checked in on that lately, you should check in on it, because there's a non-zero chance that it has stopped. So there you go. Just a thing. And thank you again to Sir Dylan, Knight of the Wailing Avian, for coming in, making up for it, and triple producing on one episode.
Yeah. It's the hat trick.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Little Winged One.
There she is, Lil Winged One, back in action. Thank you very much, producer Lil Winged One, coming in with a note. Hey guys, I've been having trouble with email. Basil, I'm so glad you are happy with Bezos special. Gons, anytime you need a hat, you hit this hatter up. Blessings to all, Little Winged One.
Okay.
Ends with a 3. Not sure why it does that. Maybe that was an accident.
It might have been an accident.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I do... while I got it here, I didn't wear it at the beginning of the episode because it takes some work, but I'll put on, for a Little Winged One, I'll put on the Bezos hat here.
Nice.
Here we go. Howdy, partners. I'm going space.
going space.
Yeah.
Thank you, Little Winged One. And yeah, I'll think about the kind of hat that I would want.
A big top hat.
No,
sweet
top hat that goes beyond the frame.
Yeah,
goes too high.
It needs to be tall enough where it doesn't fit.
It just disappears
frame.
Into the. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Little Winged One. Next up, we have James H.
Thank you very much, James H. Let me double check something.
He should be on a streak. Seems like he's on a streak.
Well, no, he's been a big streaker in the past, but I can't remember when he came in. If he came in before the show or after we started the show. I don't think. No. Okay. Thank you very much, James H.
Thank you, James H. If we messed that up, let us know. Next up, Alana L.
There we go. Alana L comes in with 1174, which is 1111 plus fees. I don't have a cool rhyme for that one, but thank you very much, Alana L.
Thank you, Alana L. Next up, Ethan S.
Ethan S. This is interesting. I changed this one to... Whoa. Hold on. I think this is Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
Oh, you're...
But he came in twice, it looks like.
Oh, he did? Hold on.
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes is down there.
Yeah, okay. Huh, interesting. Sorry, that threw us off a little bit. I believe this is Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
Oh, you know what it is? He came in for Wednesday, and we didn't get it on time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because this note for 11/11 is for Wednesday.
Okay, well, let's credit him for that then.
Okay.
We'll give you the streak credit. Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes is on a streak. 4 episodes in a row, which means we missed the third, which means Sir Salmon's is heating up.
He's heating up.
Okay, and he sends a note. Happy Wednesday, Canarians. Oh, yeah, you're right. Wow, we missed this. Sorry about that. Hope everyone is well. Cheer up, Gons. Newsome Science will not stand in the day of judgment. Side note, I'll say it since Basil didn't. Not sponsored by AutoZone. Gons, I'm pretty sure we did do this last episode.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. We're all mixed up. Anyways, here's Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes. He's later on, so... All right. I don't know what happened here,
Oh,
Gons.
you're right. We did do it on...
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how this
I don't know how that
here.
happened.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ethan, for last episode, and we'll thank you again later on in this one.
All right,
let's keep going.
Did you already delete it? Okay, you did.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Spirit Vessels.
Spirit Vessels came in. We read a note from him at the top. Thank you very much. But there's another note. FYI, the tinfoil house wrap. Oh, yeah, we already read this. But tinfoil house wrap used by firefighters to protect buildings. I used it in Wildland Firefighter and have used it to protect historic buildings. Although, as always, your rants do make me laugh. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Spirit Vessels.
Thank you, Spirit
for producing
Vessels.
the show. And, yeah, it sounds like we got to get ourselves some tinfoil house wrap.
I know. I don't know that if I ever get to the point where I can build a house out in the woods, I don't know that the wife is going to be stoked about the tinfoil look, you know?
Probably not, no. But, you know, at least there's no HOA out in the woods. So.
Maybe I can get some different colored tinfoil, you know?
Sure, yeah. Get like a nice metallic red or something.
A red, a green, you know, a brown.
Sure, you know, there's all sorts of colors.
Colors are cool. Next up, we have Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
There he is. Sir Casey's on a streak.
Sir Casey's on a streak.
We're going streaking! Come on, everybody! We're going!
Sir Casey is leading the charge, and he's been supporting the show for 59 episodes in a row. Holy smokes. Thank you very much, Sir Casey.
Thank you, Sir Casey. Next up, we have Brant W.
Brant W is on a streak. 14 episodes in a row. Comes in with 918 in honor of my birthday tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm producing in the amount of 918. Flippy is cooking up some birthday burgers for the whole Canarium. Hashtag birthday burgers and hashtag fat and sassy. Well, thank you very much, Brant. You are on a streak, and happy birthday to you.
Now, we have 2 birthday jingles now. Which one should we play?
Do the new one.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, Brant W.
Thank you, Brant W. Next up, we have Big Tank.
Big Tank, what's your 20?
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020, Uber? Chuck you. We got us a convoy, over.
That's right. Big Tank's on a streak. Supporting the show 13 episodes in a row. Comes in with a pocket full of 7s. It says, have a safe weekend, y'all. Big Tank. Thank you very much, Big Tank.
Thank you, Big Tank. Next up, we have JC.
JC's on a streak. Pocket full of 7s on a note. There is still this phrase we say around these parts. Happy Friday. Can I request the Trap Mix COVID-19 coronavirus jingle? I need it for my ringtone.
Which one is that?
It's one of the Learbag ones.
The Learbag.
Was there a Learbag one just about COVID-19? Problem is they're all about COVID-19. They're just about different things.
Yeah.
There's a vaccine one I think we have today. There's Ivermectin. There's monoclonal antibodies, the Joe Rogan one.
Maybe it's this one. Let me give this a shot here.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19.
I forgot about that one.
This is good.
It's so good. We gotta have that one lined up.
Yeah, we might just.
Wow.
Let me put it into the main.
Yeah, we should.
There.
Throw that in once in a while for the WACCINE update segment. Holy moly! And JC also came in again with a pocket full of fours. 44444 forgiven. Thank you for the forgiveness that has been granted to me through Christ. Without forgiveness, the world would truly fall apart. P.S. I wasn't sure if my first producership went through or not. It did, but both are appreciated. Thank you very much, JC.
Thank you, JC. Next up, we have Aaron J.
Aaron J's on the street. 11 episodes in a row. Came in with $7 and a note. A new season of Fortnite has started, so my treasure for now oh my gosh. Sorry. My controller just put me on an entirely different page. A new season of Fortnite has started, so my treasure for now on will be based on my current Fortnite level. Sweet. I like this. Very good. Maybe I should start playing Fortnite. It'd be fun to play Fortnite with some Canarians. I've been playing Apex Legends for any Canary Cry gamers out there. Been back on the Apex Legends kick. All right. Well, Aaron J. Aaron J. made it up to like, I forget, 160 something his level last season. So, depending on how this goes, this might be Aaron J. might hit knighthood by the time this Fortnite season's over.
I've never played Fortnite before.
Yeah, it's kind of
I know what it is. I just never played it. So
yeah, I tried so hard because I liked the idea of it. It is extremely fast paced. It is very much sort of
I hear
geared,
it's stressful.
It's very geared towards the quick minds of the younger folk nowadays. I should try again. I haven't tried in a few years. All right, good luck on this season of Fortnite, Aaron J. We look forward to watching your level skyrocket.
Thank you, Aaron J. Next up, we have Regan A.
Regan A comes in with a pocket full of threes and says, we hope you liked the picture of our Nephilim Kitty Kabuki mask, Shamura. God bless you both. Thank you for all you do, Shane and Reagan H. And I made a celebrity name for this couple as Shagan. Yeah. It's interesting. We've had more of these couples come in recently.
Yeah, I noticed that. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's giving us another something to think about on how to track this sort of stuff. Do you know what they're talking about? Did you see a Nephilim Kitty Kabuki mask?
I'm trying to look for it now because I remember reading the note and I noted in my mind that I was like, oh yeah, I need to look for that, and then I didn't. So I'm trying to do it now.
Let's look for it real quick because this might be something fun. Nephilim Kitty Kabuki mask. Did they send a picture of their cat? Is that what I'm thinking?
I don't know.
Let's see, Nephilim Kitty Kabuki mask. No, the only thing coming up is this producer note. Huh. Well, now I want to see it. Now I feel like I missed out. So send us your Nephilim Kitty Kabuki mask again.
Yeah, send it to us again, or maybe it was a while ago. I don't know. It doesn't. If you did send it, I don't think the email was labeled Nephilim Kitty Kabuki.
Yeah, send it again. I want to see it. Sorry, I don't remember. I don't know how long ago that was. I mean, we're very blessed to get an ample amount of pictures of people's cats, which I appreciate very much. So I want to make sure I'm thinking about the right cat. But thank you very much, Shane and Reagan. That's Shagan to you Canarians out there.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm actually looking forward to that now.
Yep.
All right. Next up. Oh, here we go. Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
There he is. We got you, Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes. Coming in with a pocket full of threes. And I believe this, Sir Salmon's is on a streak.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it's a 4-episode streak, although I might be mistaken. But that means that Sir Samon's heating up.
Oh. Yeah, I thought, well...
He's heating up!
I don't know. We're just working with it.
We're
coming in
doing it.
with a pocket full of threes. Happy Friday, Canarians. Here's an Illuminati. That's N-A-U-G-H-T to you. Illuminati handler signal for y'all. Speaking of handlers, and more specifically, those that are handled, can I get a hairy legs and a pay them more? Many blessings to Basil and Gons.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
Pay them more.
Do it. Thank you very much, Sir Samon's Night of the Fishes.
And the producers have a message to all you listeners out there.
Pay them more.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
All right, next up we have Veronica D.
Veronica D is on a streak.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule.
Whoa, 25 episodes in a row. God, it scared me. And pocket full of threes. Thank you very much, Veronica D.
All women who are on a streak, you're going to get Gavin.
The Newsom
You're going to get Newsomed.
It's so aggressive. That's
so
also
aggressive.
the irony
It's so
of
funny.
it. It's the most masculine. It's like a beta masculine women rules yell. It's weird.
Yeah, no note from Veronica D.
Thank you,
Veronica D. Veronica D. Next up, we have 1A.
1A is on a streak. 18 episodes in a row, which means Juan A has gone supernova.
This is Charlie, November Tango. You are approaching supernova. Repeat, you are approaching supernova.
That's right, pocket full of threes and a note. Sup, vatos? That's right, essays. I'm back again with some dinero. Here comes some money, Holmes. So get your CBDs or ABCs or something's no say. Whatever it is you cool cats do with yo Digicoin, you dig? Peace out, bruh. Thank you very much. And peace out, bruh, to you, Juan A.
Thanks, 1A. Every time there's a note that comes in from 1A, it seems like it gets more and more broken down from normal English. It's more coded and hip. Yeah. I can't keep up. By the end, it'll just be letters.
He just wants a white boy to say sup, vatos.
Cool. Next up, we have Gail M.
Gail M is on streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule.
27 episodes in a row.
Ooh.
You know what? This is the one we have no name for still.
Are you sure?
It's not on here. Do you have one?
No.
No. How in the world is this still empty on our sheet? Every single time we are...
I looked at the sheet, by the way, because I was lining up new jingles. And when I look at it, okay, yeah, it stops at 27, and then there's 33, and then there's nothing else. There's no 50, there's no 42. You need to update the little thing there.
That is... Okay, yeah, you're right. Well, okay, so let's just do it right now. So 42 was the answer, right?
Yeah, well, here, yeah, do you want me to play it, or do you want to...
Play it.
Carry this message to Hiram a bit.
Oh, that's right. Well, so I called it the answer, and our jingle producer sent us the Harem Biff.
Yeah.
So we'll call it the answer to Harem Biff.
Okay.
Which is sort of a anti-mystery religion Mason thing. So I'm putting this in. It's going on record. Boom. Harem Biff. Then after 42, it's 50, which is the nifty 50.
Nifty 50, yeah.
And then I think that's where we're at, except for the 27 is still gone. I'm so confused. Do we just make it up and then we just forget it? I think we
make it up and forget it. Yeah, here. This is just a jingle that's on my board, and
for 27.
For 27, I don't know that it's going to be good.
What do you have?
I'm just going to play it.
Okay.
It's stabbing time.
It's stabbing time? What in the world? Where did that come from?
It's on my board.
Okay. All right, it's stabbing time. Oh, gosh. We have to put one here, though. Okay, we're just going to do it. We're going to make the decision. It is 27. This is after the 21 gun salute. And before the illuminated lizard master shill star. What is 27? What does 27 even mean?
It's the age where all the rock stars get taken out.
Is it the 27 Club?
Yeah.
All right, that's what it is. It's the 27 Club.
27 Club. Wow, it's not a great.
We'll reclaim it for something else. It's the 27 Club, and we'll just give them a random jingle from the board.
You know what 27 is also? It's 3 times 3 times 3.
Okay, we're on to something. This is a little bit better. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll call it the triple three, the
triple threat.
Threes and fees. Triple threat sounds good.
Triple threat multiplier.
Triple threat multiplier. Okay, sounds good. That's what it is.
3 cubed. Yeah, 3 cubed. I like that. Wrong smash.
You like 3 cubed?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay. What does that even mean?
3 to the third power. 3 times 3.
Yeah.
3 times 3.
Okay.
27, right?
3 cubed.
Yeah.
All right. Is that like the black cube, like the Saturn's cube?
Sure, but it equals 27. I don't know.
I hear you.
I'm trying to help you, buddy. You're the one that's supposed to be in charge of this streak title thing.
Oh my gosh.
You never have it down.
He's losing it, folks. He's completely lost it. Here it is. I'm putting triple threat. 3 cubes triple threat is what it is right now.
Triple threat, okay.
So thank you very much, Gail, for 27 episodes in a row. You're currently triple threat 3 cubed. We'll find it.
Triple. You keep switching it around. This is part of the problem. You got to commit.
I'm saving
it. You got to commit.
It's officially on the list. Don't tell me about committing.
I like how triggered you're getting about it.
I extemporaneously have to make these up and commit to them, and then we have to live with them for the rest of our lives.
Well, you committed to do it, so
I did it.
You commit.
I did it. We're here. We're here.
All right.
3 cubed triple threat is the 27th straight. Thank you very much, Gail.
Thank you, Gail M. Putting us in our place, Gail M. Thank you.
It's stabbing time.
Stabbing time. Next up, Marcy T.
Marcy T, thank you very much. Comes in with a pocket full of 2s. Says 222. Strong Hebrew word mean Uriel, flame of Lord God, and 2 Hebrews that you 2 Gons and Basil, my precious brothers, agape, Marcy T.
Thank you, Marcy T.
Thank you very much, Marcy T.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Rung Smash.
Rung Smash is on a streak. 14 episodes in a row, comes in with 204, 1 cent per character on this microfiction, which reads like this. The young Keizo leads the time-traveling duo back to their secret base in a gym. As they enter, Basil is accosted by his love, Grace, holding hands with an ugly-looking robot butler. Oh, Gary, you're so slow and weak, she says. Basil begins shutting down. Oh, I guess I'm married to Grace, the nursing robot,
who's cheating on you with Gary.
No, Grace is belittling our butler Gary, which is pretty unattractive. Grace, you need to be nice to Gary.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you very much, Wrong Smash. Next up, last but not least on the list of
you're right.
treasures.
Grace is holding hands with an ugly-looking robot butler.
Yeah.
Oh, Gary. Oh, she loves him for how slow and weak he is.
Yeah.
Well, don't we all? We all love him for being so pitiful.
Yeah, this is why it happens, Basil. You're not paying attention.
Grace, why, Grace?
Grace goes for Gary.
How could you leave me for Gary?
And you don't even realize it, even though it's laid out in front of you. Mm-hmm. All right. Last but not least here, producer Ciara.
Ciara coming in on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Oh my gosh, it is so loud. 22 episodes in a row. And Ciara says, and God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. Genesis 1:16 ESV. Side question.
Yeah.
If some of y'all don't believe in space, then what are the stars doing? Grace, don't even start.
They're holes in the firmament, Grace.
Don't even start.
They're wandering angels. Hey, we forgot to read Gail M's note.
Did we?
Yeah, we were complaining over the streak. We forgot to read her note.
We got so distracted. Okay, Gail M, our triple threat, So she came in with 316 and says, "My sweet boys, God bless you and my loving Canarian family for your spiritual and emotional support. As some of you know, I'm living proof that miracles happen from God's divine intervention. Following group prayer and surviving NDE during childbirth in 92, Jeremiah 29:12-13. Now, knowing that you are all praying as we wait for a definite prognosis is keeping me hopeful that he can do it again. Thank you so very much. XXXXXX. Oh. Thank you, Gail. And yeah, my goodness, sorry, did not want to miss that note.
Yeah.
And yes, we are all continuing to pray for you, Gail.
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
We haven't initiated the producer, so maybe we can do that now, real quick.
Sure.
Producers, assemble!
That's right, producers. You're still on the job of praying for Gail as she awaits her for a definite prognosis. So there you go. We love you, Gail.
Yep.
All right.
And Ciara, the stars are angels hanging out on the firmament watching us.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. As it rolls around. All right. Thank you for all the producers out there. We appreciate it. A great showing for episode 390. We thank you so much. And we're grateful for you, but there are other ways you can produce a show, and that includes contributions of your time and talent. For the timestamps of episode 389, Rachel C. came in. So thank you, Rachel C. We appreciate that. And
thank you very much, Rachel C.
You can also provide producership with your talent. And we have a jingle to share. Oh, where's my jingle? Oh, here it is.
We have a new jingle.
Our first jingle comes from Aaron J. It's not very good, but this is a jingle you guys can probably use as the 21 Salute Streaker jingle if you choose.
Yes, that's his note. That's not Gon saying it's not very good.
Oh, no, yeah, it's not me saying it. No, that's the note. Here's the jingle.
Got me, partner.
Yeah, I like it.
That's fun. There's so many little Easter eggs in there.
It is 18 seconds long, though.
It is a little long. It's a great start.
Yes, I like it though. It is loaded up, and once we get to people with a 21 streak, there we'll give it to them.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aaron J. Appreciate that.
Aaron J.
And then we got one from Learbag 3000. He's back.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Hey y'all, reminder for Gons, get that nifty 50 jangle ready." Well, we did.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the reminder.
Here's a little ditty I did. Figured it was time to spice it up a little. Threw in a solo for Gons. Fun fact, every sound in this, other than the bass sound in my guitar, were from the press conference. All hi-hats, snares, and kick drums. The kick in his little authoritative fist slam.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, don't know when you'd use this, but figured I'd share for entertainment. God bless. And let me pull it up here. Oh, here we go. It's the Get Vaxxed solo.
Is this constitutional, Mr. President?
Get vaccinated. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Trust me, I know. Get vaccinated. Get a booster right away.
It's pretty good. Repurposing the podium slam as a beat. That's how it's done.
Great timing too. When it comes out with when he ends with "get the booster right away."
Yeah.
Especially since today the booster got denied by the FDA.
P.S. I fixed resent Wednesday's jingle same day. Hope that audio's better. # phone studio. Learbag. Thank you, Learbag. Appreciate it.
Studio Learbag. Thank you very much, Learbag.
Well done. Well done. All right. Other ways you can produce a show with your talent is with your artwork.
One art, please.
And our first piece comes from Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And the note that accompanied this piece, Alien King Penguin. Alien King Penguin is irritated because science is saying that penguins are from Venus, but they are not properly crediting them for settling another planet and then as flightless birds making their way to Earth and also settling here. Mm-hmm. In addition to the delightful cold and isolation, it is distinctly possible that they chose Antarctica because of its proximity to the underground UFO bases.
Yes.
Remember Operation High Jump and Admiral Byrd?
Yes, we do.
If that was his real name. Hashtag birds aren't real, spelled BYRDS.
Admiral Birds.
Admiral
Birds
Byrd.
aren't real. That's funny. This is great. And yes, we have the gigantic Nephilim penguin from Venus here with a couple of UFOs flying around its head. It's got a very displeased look on its face. But it's true. Science says penguins are from Venus, but they're not getting all the credit they deserve. Penguins are a highly colonial species that have colonized many planets and just wanted to settle down in their golden years in Antarctica with the UFO bases. Thank you very much, Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation. This is a great one.
You know, I was thinking about penguins and pop culture and how it might be telling us of the true origins of the penguin. You know, you got Happy Feet, you know, the movie where the penguin dances. Yeah.
The true origins of the dancing penguins.
Penguins. And then you have Penguin, the character, you know, from Batman. It's pretty Nephilim-y, you know.
Who did that? Was that Danny DeVito?
I think it was Danny DeVito did the popular version anyway. There was that old...
quite Nephilim-y, Chimera-y for sure.
Yeah, there's that old one from the old Batman, but you know, the more recent one, yes, I think it was Danny DeVito. I was trying to think, wasn't there was something in pop culture, and I don't remember what it was from, where the penguins had like a laser attached to them or something? Laser beams?
I don't remember that, but I think notably there was Club Penguin, which was one of the first online social spaces. And I think it's an interesting connection to the sort of technocratic virtual life being lived. Club Penguin was this weird browser-based, basically just social hangout place where you create a little penguin and dress them up and just go talk to other people and dressed as penguins.
And then there was this 2014 article that from Popular Mechanics titled "Robots, Penguins Can Spy on the Real Thing for Science."
Yes.
And there's a picture
notoriously scientists have created robot penguins to study other penguins.
And anyway. Could have sworn I really thought there was like a penguin laser, like penguins with lasers attached to them on something.
You know, it sounds like something that somebody would dream up. And this has been the Penguin Report from Canary Cry News Doc.
Thank you, Allie, for
Allie.
The Nephilim penguin. What is it? What did she call it? The Alien King Penguin.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Next piece comes from Sir Dove Knight of Rosbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
Well, as always, it's Friday, so it's 2 art pieces from Dove.
Yes, we've got the street team designs here.
Yep, for this Friday's street team designs, I did a sticker for the Jinko Army and a flyer for those who have recently been taken advantage of by a unicorn after you guys talked last week about how they are never to be trusted. Hope you guys like them.
Never trust a unicorn.
Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins. P.S. I injured my drawing hand this week, and all work is taking me twice as long to do after getting my producer Jubilee last week. I may not be able to do all 3 episodes next week.
Oh, no.
But I'll try my best.
Okay.
Before we talk about the pieces here, there was a guy when I used to swim, when I used to compete. There was a guy that would always come to the pool, and he was a painter. He was like a watercolor painter guy.
Mm-hmm.
He'd sit on his bench. It was actually like a car seat, not like an actual chair. It was like literally a seat
like
from a car.
A bucket seat, yeah.
Yeah, and he would just put it down on the bleachers, and he'd sit there, and he'd bust out all his paint. But the thing was, he wouldn't paint. He was painting swimmers, and he'd give him the paintings and stuff. But he would paint with his mouth. He would hold the paintbrush in his mouth. And do the paintings.
Was he disabled in some way?
No,
or was this
no.
for fun?
It was like the thing he did. That was like his thing, was that he would paint with his mouth. And he had this little thing for each paintbrush. You know, he had a little piece to go in his mouth.
Sure.
So just to, you know.
So there you go, Dove.
Sir Dove.
No excuse.
No excuses, buddy.
Dove is just like looking for an excuse to not be.
I know.
Just not have to do so much. It's like, nope, sorry. Put your stylus in your mouth. Well, let's get the producers for Dove's hurt hand. He didn't ask for it.
Producers, assemble!
There you go. Producers around the world assemble. Let's pray for Sir Dove's hand there. Look, hey, we're not trying to keep him on the hook for all his amazing art, but we don't want him a hurt hand. We can't have that.
Yeah, that's not
while
good.
The producers are at work.
Yeah, I broke my hand a few years ago. It's not fun.
No, it is not. I imagine. All right, let's take a look at the Jinko Army.
Yep.
Beautiful piece here from Sir Dove. It says, join the Jinko Army. The Jinko Army is all emblazoned with flames and big, very Jinko reminiscent. And it's Gons on a very strong and powerful horse, wearing his Jinko jeans, holding a samurai sword. He's got his face painted like the
William Wallace,
like Braveheart, of course. Gons loves Braveheart, but interestingly enough, the horse also has his face painted like William Wallace. So that's very fun.
We are one.
Yeah, you've also got a fun sort of old-timey military style jacket there.
Yeah,
I can't quite zoom in enough. What's the
on the left shoulder there? It's got the derpy canary head with the I don't know what the design is called there with the arrows.
It's like the bars, I think they call them. It's how you signify a certain level within the military.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
And then the Jinko's there. It's got the Jinko logo, and then it's got a little tag that says 50-inch.
Oh, good. You got those 50-inch. Those are 50-inch Jinkos. Look at that. My gosh. And, of course, we've got the CanaryCry.Party down there at the end. This will definitely get some visitors from the Canary Cry Street team.
You know, I was thinking about printing this one and putting it up around my neighborhood, and I was wondering if people would recognize me, you know?
Probably.
You know, just be like, fun. Hey, that's me, you know? Just check it out.
Or there'd just be people coming up to you like, oh, you're the guy from the Jinko ad.
The other piece here is a unicorn.
Very shady-looking unicorn. He's standing on his hind legs. He's got a trench coat on, and he's trying to sell you some things from inside his trench coat. Oh my gosh, his shady little eyes are so funny. It says here, have you or someone you love recently been taken advantage of by a unicorn? They are notoriously untrustworthy. Well, you may now be entitled to compensation. Find out more at CanaryCry.Party. And yes, the unicorn is sort of opening one side of his trench coat here. And in classic trench coat fashion, you've got a bunch of watches, and he's got a little sign that says timepieces. Then down at the bottom it says little horns, and you can buy little unicorn horns. They all have cute little faces on them.
Are you mocking my biblical interpretation, Dove? I'm just kidding.
The little horns.
I'm kidding. No, it's great. This is so good. I love it. I wonder if the time on the watches has some kind of signaling too. I bet it does.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So the first 3 watches there, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, with the third watch being digital. The next one is 1 o'clock, I think, and then 9 o'clock. 8 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 1984. Oh my gosh,
we
decoded you.
Your riddle, Dove. That's hilarious.
Can't get nothing by us.
The details. That was a sneaky one. I didn't even think about that. Very good, Guns.
What about the little horn faces there? I don't know.
It's George W. Bush. It's Donald Trump. It's
Klaus
Barack
Schwab.
Obama and Joe Biden.
They're all mad.
4 little horns.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Dove. We appreciate it. These are fantastic. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have one from producer Ryan N., and he sent us a bunch, but I think this is part of a bigger thing here. I'm going to put one of them up, and I'll read the note here. He says, okay, guys, confessional time. I admit I've been a mooch for a while, but no more. Full disclosure, Canary Cry Radio /News Talk has a huge... Did I already read this? Did we read this last time?
Well, we read his last note, which I think he kind of talked about this in his last note. For those who watched last episode, Ryan is the one working on like a graphic novel and asked if he could write us into it. And of course, we said yes. He shared some concept art for Gons and I last episode.
Yeah, I don't think we did read this. Okay, so full disclosure, Canary Cry Radio News Talk has a huge impact on my comic book side project that I've been working on for a while now. In fact, the Antichrist character of my story is birthed from Basil's value for value speeches. And I even have a restaurant in the book named Flippy Burger. I hope that's okay.
Of course.
Attached is the first 7 pages of the prologue to my indie comic with the working title Advent of Logos, to show I'm not just a flash-in-the-pan art producer or just looking for attention, endorsement, or clout, as the kids say. LOL. I apologize for the low quality of the photos, and the text may be hard to read due to the manga pens. The manga pens. I plan to have them digitally colored and text correctly in the future. Again, thank you for everything you guys do. You're the only way I get my news, and look forward to Friday's show. P.S. I was wondering if you could put the word out to producers for my neighbor Josh. We had a heart-to-heart hanging out in the garage recently, and long story short, I shared the gospel with him, so I prayed the Holy Spirit works on his heart, and he puts all his chips in on Christ. Thanks. So there you go, producers.
The old...
Producers, assemble!
The old garage heart-to-hearts. Yes, Christ has been shared in the old garage heart-to-hearts.
50% of this show, or at least the Canary Cry time, started in the garage.
Yes, I used to record all the shows in the garage.
Yeah.
I was a younger man. And yeah, this is a cool first page. This is to the prologue here, so you can kind of just get an idea of what he's working with here. Just for those who are just listening, the panels are a series of panels. So, well, the first one is like a control room. How much harm can one book do? Then some speech bubbles from off to the side. Coordinates set, awaiting orders, acknowledge, stand by. Then you've got some shadowed figures in the control room, clicking buttons, hands on keys, 3, 2, 1, mark. As it had done countless times before. There's a image of a missile like coming out of a silo, like an underground silo here. I have launch in progress, enable launch in progress. The human race waged war, missiles away, against itself. And then you're seeing over like a desert, like a Nevada desert scene here, about a dozen of these missiles launching. However, this wasn't a war for resources or territories, but over ideologies. And then we see the bomb exploding in some cities. So there you go. There's the first page of some Orion stuff here. And we look forward to seeing more. We've got quite a few more sitting here in our email. Maybe we'll share these, one an episode or something? We'll
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, some. We'll see how it goes. But thank you very much, Ryan. And yeah, this is great work. Yes, of course, we made no assumptions about your flash in the paniness or attention, endorsement, or cloudiness. But seeing your pages here, you real deal working on it, buddy. Appreciate it.
Real deal. Appreciate it. And yeah, we're looking forward to what you do with it. It looks very professional. Reminds me of my comic book days. Thank you very much, Ryan N. Last piece here is from The Elegant Hobo. And this is actually a video. It's 2 minutes long.
No. This is something he just sent us to view.
Are you sure?
Yeah, did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah, I don't think he made this.
Oh, he didn't?
Think this is just something he found, which is cool, but we can't take 2 minutes and watch a whole video here.
Okay, all right.
No, I thank you for sending it, Elegant Hobo. I had fun watching it. But yes, I don't think Elegant Hobo made this for the show.
Okay. All right. Well, it's got Trudeau in there, and it's all dubbed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what the name of this. There's no title on it, but I was gonna say it's Trudeau video. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll share this on the social or something. It's scathing sort of video making fun of Trudeau.
Yeah.
Which is always fun.
Yeah. All right, real quickly, let's do some meetup information. Oh, boy. Oh, I shouldn't have moved everything. Nope, that's not it.
CanaryCry Meetup.
Go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Get all the latest information about a meetup that may be happening near you. Oh, do I need to refresh this page? I think I do on my browser here. Maybe not. Here we go. Ohio, October 30th. Basil Pizza and Wine Bar in Pearisburg, Ohio. Email crlauren93@gmail.com. NorCal, November 6th. SoCal, December 4th, coming up for the ones that CR is putting together. EU meetup. We got an update from Mr. Jag here. He said, I trust this email reaches you well. The Vienna meetup will happen on November 27th. The Vienna Christmas market should be up and running by then, and I hope that next COVID lockdown not makes it more difficult to travel than it should be, considering the fact that Austrian border crossing can be time-consuming and annoying, but maybe for once I can actually benefit from having a proof of vacation. Also, I'd like to add another meetup for me, please, for the year 3070.
Okay.
Location, New Jerusalem. I expect everyone to be there. Mr. Jag.
Right. We'll put it on the calendar, Mr. Jag. That's fun. Yeah, this Christmas market thing, I think it's more of like a Europe-y thing. I think they do it in some places in like the Midwest in the U.S. where a lot of the Norwegians immigrated to and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I went to one of these Christmas markets in Sweden once. They are the coolest things. I love Christmas. Always have. Big deal.
You pagan fiend.
I know. Very pagan-y. Oh, and if you think American Christmas is pagan-y,
oh no,
these Euro Christmases are way more pagan-y.
I bet.
But basically every year they set up tons of these really extravagant. They're basically little they're almost like little theme parks that are temporary, but they set them up for Christmas. They're very fun. So yeah, I'm sure the Vienna Christmas market will be a fun and engaging place to do a Canary Cry meetup.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I'll update the website here to make sure all the info is there if you're in Europe. And Arkansas meetup, September 25th. That's the Pikeland meetup, and you can contact Pizza Rat for that one. Let's see, Louisville, Kentucky. We have the I put RVSP. Wow, I need to fix myself. RSVP Tony, email awakeosleeperandrise@gmail.com. The link is in the website. What am I saying? CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Scroll down, look for the Louisville, Kentucky meetup, October 31st at 6:66 p.m. at the Mile Wide Brewery, kid friendly. And we did also have a note come in from Josiah. He said, I want to get a meetup going for North Idaho on October 16th in Sandpoint, Idaho. Okay. I can be reached at josiahbdyer@gmail.com. Flyer coming soon. I'll add that into the website there, CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Yeah. Send us that flyer too. We'll put it all there. Cool. All right, great. Another one, another meetup on the books. North Idaho, October 16th in Sandpoint. Sounds great. You know what? I'm realizing we probably need to mention these meetups at the end or the beginning of the show as well, because if somebody is a break skipper, there's probably a lot of people not knowing about these meetups or even knowing about CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
True.
So I'm going to start mentioning CanaryCry.Meetups.com at the end of the show.
This
Okay, Gons, we're going to take a quick second here and read some reviews. Are you ready? Yippee indeed. And here we go. We're going to blast right through them. Thank you to everybody who left ratings and reviews. We did it. We got enough ratings and reviews to activate the algorithms this week. And I don't know if you've looked at the charts, Gons, but numbers are way up this week. And
are they?
Yep. And a lot of that is thanks to these reviews. For those who have never left a rating and a review, what are you waiting for? I'm asking you as a personal favor to leave a rating and a review, because when we get a certain amount of reviews, seems to be somewhere around 5 or more, it kicks those algorithms into warp drive there, warp speed, and shares the show with people who've never seen it before. And yeah, I mean, we can get hundreds or even thousands of new people finding the show every week, just because of these reviews kicking things into gear. So that's why I want to thank everybody who left ratings and reviews, and we got some good ones I'm going to read right now. Let's see. We're going to start out with this 5 stars from Jen D. Says, unbiased news with a dose of Jesus. Having listened to many alternative news sources, I find this show to be refreshing and unique. It is truly unbiased politically, yet continues to present current events through a solid biblical worldview. But the Christian message is so subtle that it will wake up many normies without intimidating them with religion. And they keep me laughing and entertained with their gift of humor. Also, AI, technology, and robotic stories that will blow your mind. I encourage everyone to turn off their fake news television, and turn on this show. Thank you very much, Jen D. Appreciate it. Let's see here. We did see me too. Okay.
Thank you, Jen D. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jen
review.
D. Yeah, it was wonderful. Next, we have Stu C. in the U.S. here. 5 stars. Think outside the cage. A good source of curated news with deconstruction and insight by 2 funny Christian dudes. Fishers of men and women seeking a balanced and better understanding of current world and U.S. political news with an extra dose of robotics news. Not sure why, but it's interesting and non-triggering mostly. Canary is now in my weekly stream of podcasts, like I have any more time for another podcast. So, this bumped something else. Yes. 12 hours
we know
of
what it's like. We understand.
Thus, the 5-star rating. But it's really an iffy 4.5. There's always room for improvement, boys. Well, can't disagree with you there. No doubt they will get there when enough people subscribe and help produce this value for value show. Thank you very much, Stu C.
Yeah, thank you.
Stu C's nagging us. He wants us to know that we can still do things better.
Well, that's a good reminder. I would agree with him. There's a lot of things we can do better.
Not a lot, guys.
A lot.
There's a couple of things. Next up, we have Hairy Legs Guy. 5 stars. Not for the hairiest of legs. Here is a list of some of the most difficult words to pronounce in the English language. This one's for you, Baz. Enjoy. Oh, thank you, Hairy Legs.
I love this.
Okay, I'm just gonna run right at it. Let's see what happens. Otorhinolaryngologist. Nailed it. Synecdoche. I know that one. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. Flauchinauchinihilipinilification.
Oh, no way. No. No, you added an N in there.
Do you know how to pronounce this?
No.
Okay, well. Flauchinauchinihilipinification.
Flauchinauchinihilipilification.
That's not a real word. Look that up. Google that real quick. Schadenfreude. You know that
Schadenfreude,
one. Sesquipedalian. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Praise
Everyone
the Lord
knows
and
that
pass
one.
the ammunition, bro. Love the show. Thank you very much, Hairy Legs Guy.
Okay, it's pronounced Flacus nos nihila pilaf cashin. The action or habit of estimating something as worthless.
I don't think that's how it's pronounced, but I believe that you read that. Okay.
Hold on. Let's play the thing. Hold on. Let me see here.
Okay.
Here we go.
Floxinosinihilipilification.
Do it again.
Floxinosinihilipilification.
Nihilipilification.
That's like a German word. It's like thing.
Pilification. Yeah, I think that's the hard part. Flachinachinification. Ah, there you go. Got it.
Flachinachinihil.
No, nihil like nihilist.
Let me get through it.
Okay.
Flachinachinihilipilification.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Ellen68 Happy. I am addicted. It's that awesome. 5 stars. I discovered CNN. I discovered CCNT from an episode from YouTube, Face Like the Sun. 1 episode in, and I began listening to the older ones while I work, waiting impatiently for Basil and Gons to make a new one, which they do, thankfully, 3 times a week. Excellent news clips with Holy Spirit-filled opinions expressed without judging or arrogance. The days are getting darker, and seriously, thank you guys for your hard work. I'm a monthly supporter on Patreon because I believe in the value you put forth. Since you read these on the show, I'll put in supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Might be a spell, so be careful. Wink, wink. Oh yeah, good point. Huge bug-free hugs to you from Alabama.
All right, thank you, Ellen. Yeah, that's a. This might be a new trend where we get people, leaving reviews just so they can find a crazy word to put in there, like a real word.
I know. Well, considering supercalifragilisticexpialidocious made it into 2 reviews in a row was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Next, we have Running Stell, best alternative news, 5 stars. If you're looking for truth, you will find it here. We love this awesome tag team and appreciate the humor as well as using our critical thinking. Thanks, guys, for putting out the truth. We need it more now than ever. Brian and Michelle. Thank you very much, Brian and Michelle.
Another couple.
It's true. You know what? It's been a thing forever for sort of fringy people or just alternative media to say like, oh, this is needed now more than ever. But truly, the world is so insane that just taking a rational approach to deconstructing mainstream news is truly needed more now than ever. For us, I'm not even saying that we're like giving a great gift to the world. For me alone, I need to take 12 hours a week to just talk it out.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Agent 99, news you can use, 5 stars, news you can use from a pair you can trust. Basil and Gons dive deep into alternative sources to bring you the unfiltered facts you simply won't find in mainstream media. And they do it all ad-free. No corporate sponsorship, no hidden agenda, no one telling you what to believe. It's just the facts, ma'am. Presented with a lighthearted, entertains twist, bringing honesty and integrity back to media, ladies and gentlemen. It's Canary Cry Radio. Thank you very much, Agent 99.
Thank you, Agent 99.
All right, last one here, Gons. Here we go. This is from Jess Kilo. 5 stars. Gons is awesome. Please read this live. Okay, I'm reading this live. Gons is awesome. Basil, you need to let him have it sometimes and quit talking so much. LOL, you both are amazing, and I absolutely love listening to you guys. Keep on keeping on. Okay, Jess Kilo, for you, I will... when I first read I need to let you have it sometimes, it sounded like I needed to berate you about something. Let him have it. But I just need to quit talking. I mean, I think that's a little ironic, considering... that 20-minute expose on ivermectin that I literally did not say one word. But thank you, Jess Kilo, for the comment. I will say, I got the message, folks. I get it. I need to, quote, let Gons talk sometimes. Look, I'm looking at the waveform. We talk about exactly the same on each episode, okay? So what you're saying is you want to hear less from me and more from Gons. And I got the message, and I'm not doing it. Now I'm going to interrupt Gons at every moment that I possibly can.
Oh, no. Look what you've done, Kilo. You've unleashed the beast.
I'm anti-authoritarian like that. You tell me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm sorry. It's just how I am. Now, thank you very much, Jess Kilo, for echoing the sentiments of the entire internet and making me read it live on the show. All right, that's all the reviews we have for today, Gons. Thank you to everyone who left ratings and reviews. We appreciate it very, very much, not just for like the fun feel goods, which it is also that, but also it is a very important aspect of this podcasting thing that Gons and I have no control over. You, the producers, are the ones who have control over these algorithms, and you can control them by leaving ratings and reviews. And we'll do it again. We're setting the quota for 5 more reviews by next Friday. I'll read them all on the air, whether you want to take the opportunity to criticize me or to make me pronounce funny words or whatever the case may be. I am honor bound to read them here on the show. So thank you very much. And you can do that on Apple Podcasts is where we ask for these ratings and reviews. If you have an Apple device or have access to an Apple device, whether it's an iPad or a phone or a computer, whatever, if it's made by Apple, you can do it. Search for Apple Podcasts on that device. It's a little purple icon. Click on that. Search for Canary Cry News Talk and subscribe to it, and then leave a rating and a review, and you will hear it read on the show next Friday. Okie dokie. That's all I got, Gons.
All right. Let's
Oh, you know what? One last thing.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to thank everybody who has checked out Ravel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been great. I've had a great response to it. Lots of downloads, lots of streams, lots of reviews for my new podcast, Ravel, with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. You can find it on, it's not on every podcast player yet, but it should be on a lot of them. Now, remember, there are 2 Ravel podcasts. Another podcast stole my name. So they stole our name to the podcast, but that's okay. We are still rolling with it. I am specifically asking you to not leave bad ratings and reviews for them. I don't want to pick fights. I don't want to make anybody feel bad or anything. So please don't do that. But do leave good reviews for my Ravel. You can search Ravel, and it's the one with the good logo with the white background. It should be easy to find. But if you have trouble finding it, you just search Ravel Basil or something. And search for lowercase Ravel. You know, there's ways to make sure you find ours. Ours is coming up first now because of everybody leaving ratings and reviews, which we appreciate very much. We have overtaken them in the search analytics. But if you haven't done it yet, go check out Ravel. If you want to add another podcast to your thing. Now, keep in mind, I am teaming up with a PhD in biblical interpretation. We are exploring the Bible in lots of ways. We are talking to guests who maybe have different views, but we don't hold back if we disagree with something, or it's not. You don't go there thinking you're going to get your Sunday morning Bible study. But if you're interested in exploring the Bible in ways maybe you don't get the chance to on Sunday morning, go check out Ravel and leave a positive rating and review if you could. I'd appreciate it very much. Okay, that's it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
Well, now I'm ready.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Hold on. Why? Hold on. Let me try that again.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Man, some of the connection stuff here I'm having issues with. All right, what are we doing? Politics. Yay.
Poly.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
Your blood.
I was going to make an FBI jingle, but never got around to it.
Classic.
Yeah.
You mean he didn't have time between creating more content than anyone else on the internet and raising 3 children?
What?
Keep on going. He's losing his mind, folks.
Yeah, and I didn't have time. It's okay. I'll get to it, or maybe Learbag 3000. I summon you for the jingle, FBI jingle. The reason being, there's a lot of anti-FBI news out there. I don't know if you noticed the pattern.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
This first one here comes from the Wall Street Journal, and the headline is Star Gymnasts Give Senators an Unsparing Account of FBI's Failures and Larry Nassar Investigation. And real quick here, I don't know that do I not have the full thing, or is this a really short article? Washington, in a litany of reports and documents, the 4 women who appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Wednesday have for years been referred to by initials or numbers. Athlete B, Gymnast 1, Athlete A, Gymnast 3. On Wednesday, the women, elite gymnasts Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, Maggie Nichols, and Allie Raisman gave U.S. senators an emotional and unsparing account of how the Federal Bureau of Investigation, USA Gymnastics, and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee failed to investigate or act. Oh, man, I thought I had got around the paywall, but I guess I didn't on that. Let me see if I have a screenshot version that gives me a little more. No. Do you have the whole article?
Let me see. Boop.
Their paywalls are becoming more sophisticated, it appears.
Yeah, they're hacking archive.com.
Yeah.
Huh. No, I don't have. Let's see. Nope. Yeah. Oh, wow. I wonder if it's just so new that nobody's.
No, because I have it. I already ran it through the archive.
From the 15th. Yeah. Bummer. There you go, folks. There's your mainstream media hiding the news from you unless you pay for it.
Yeah. Well, the point being here that they basically Simone Biles and others came out and said that they had informed the FBI of what was going on, but they didn't act. And there were some people that even got abused after they had, told the FBI.
Yeah, it's even worse than didn't act, though. They reported Larry Nassar to the FBI. The FBI didn't do anything for a year and a half. After that year and a half, the FBI agents falsified the records, so they wouldn't get in trouble for not reporting, a serial pedophile. So you have the FBI protecting pedophiles. I guess there's nothing new necessarily. And then on top of that, one of the agents in charge of this whole thing, who buried the story and protected a pedophile, who then went off to abuse more children while the FBI was protecting him, he was angling for a job with this gymnast association. So he was basically in the FBI. He was either leaving or retiring or something after having protected Larry Nassar, and then was trying to get a job with this USA Gymnastics and Olympic blah, blah, blah organization. So it was blatantly the FBI protecting a pedophile, and this agent specifically letting a pedophile run free to abuse more girls, more children, in order to get a job with the gymnastics organization. It's the wildest. And again, look, we are totally aware of everything else. You have the FBI having a dozen FBI informants entrapping and completely making up the plan to kidnap Governor Whitmer. You've got FBI informants causing certain aspects of January 6th. I mean, the FBI is getting a lot of attention recently, and this is interesting how this gymnastics story is the one that's really popping off because it's not political. That's the big one. We've had even the last year, you've had the FBI, their schemes be sort of brought to light, but not a lot of attention paid to it. But now with this gymnastics thing, because it has nothing to do with Trump, it can actually get some legs in the public eye.
Well, Newsom was right.
Women rule!
One of the things that I wonder, though, is why. you don't tear down. Obviously, the corruption needs to be exposed. But, I think about historically, you look at the Catholic Church, they've still kind of just operated even though they got exposed a while ago. Like when I was a kid, I remember their whole pedophile thing was, a big talking point amongst, people out there.
Of course.
But it kept going. And I wonder if there is a planned demolition of the FBI, perhaps another agency, 3-letter agency is in on taking over, or just completely dismantling the organization altogether. I don't know.
There's been loud, relevant calls for abolishing the FBI. And from what we've seen recently, I mean, they're basically just sort of like, what? They're not protecting the people that they're saying they want to protect. They're not protecting children being abused by a pedophile. Then in order to get street cred, they're going out and planning their own terrorist attacks and trying to pin it on people who would never have done it or even thought about it without them. I mean, they have really not done a whole lot. I mean, to justify their existence, and yet they're allowed to work in complete secrecy. They're not. There's no elected officials overseeing it. It's things are starting to crumble over there at the organization.
Well, see, that's the thing that I wonder though, is that okay, in my opinion, every 3-letter agency, every government agency, ultimately they don't have any good plans for people. They got their own agendas. They're hijacked or whatever. They have their own world agenda thing going on.
They exist to propagate their own existence.
Right. Now, how do I put this? I'm trying to think of if you're one of these elite people here, and you have all these plans to carry out all these different things. You got to juggle all kinds of stuff in the air. You can funnel certain types of operations to one organization, and then it's almost like it's kind of like, and this is a really crude example, but it's like allocating your investments, and you tend to put riskier investments kind of off to the side, like, yeah, I'll put some stuff over here, but if it goes down, if it goes to zero, whatever, it's not a big loss because it was risky. I wonder if they were doing that with the FBI, where they're like, well, this is like blatantly corrupt, but let's just go ahead and do that with the FBI because the FBI can fold, and hey, it's one less wing that we have to worry about.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm just saying
the weird thing about it is if you listen to the mainstream news, domestic terrorism is the biggest threat to the country. And
the domestic terrorists are more often than not, it's the FBI who are the most dangerous domestic terrorists in the country.
Sure. We've documented that, even mentioned it here on this show just now. But FBI, their job, they are the Federal Bureau of Investigation. When it comes to domestic terror, they are the guys in charge of finding it. And yet, the biggest domestic, quote unquote, according to the mainstream media, the biggest domestic terror incident was January 6th, which they were involved in planning, was the Gretchen Whitmer plot for kidnapping, which they were overwhelmingly involved in planning. What, can you name a single plot that they have foiled that they weren't involved in the actual planning of? I can't think of one. And if there is one, why is that not getting any play in the media? I mean, it's almost like this setup where either they are trying to expose themselves as an organization with an inappropriate amount of power and funding, or somebody else is trying to expose them as this. I mean, if there was a legitimate domestic terror plot that's been foiled by these guys. Why have we not heard about it? I just don't get it. I mean, it speaks to the fact that this mainstream I don't know, this, what is hype, I guess, this hysteria about domestic terrorism is either doesn't exist or only exists because of the FBI creating it. I'm just saying, by what is reported. I have no more information than what everybody else has. And for someone to have the idea that the FBI is out there protecting us from something, show me. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, that's part of it. They would argue probably is that, we're not really privileged to know everything that they're doing to protect us, because if they revealed
so there
everything,
you go. The FBI PR guys, they got to start telling us something good, because there's literally, at least in the past 2 years, there has been, and you could take this all the way past 5 years. I mean, because that includes the neurodivergent kid who they framed for some terrorist act. That includes the Larry Nassar story, which started in 2015. I mean, over and over and over and over, all we hear is how the FBI failed at something, or they were successful at thwarting a plot that they planned. It's like somebody at the FBI PR agency needs to let some good news out, or because I'm just saying for their sake, because look, we've always been on board with we've always been paying attention to this, but now you have the entire country. The biggest news story in the entire country yesterday was the story about how the FBI purposefully protected a pedophile and then tried to get a job with the organization that benefited from protecting this pedophile. And, at some point, there's going to be the scales are going to tip on these guys. And I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe there is some other 3-letter agency who is trying to, demolition the FBI's reputation or something.
It'd be tough to tear down the FBI, though. It's
why
not. Well, I mean,
they're not an elected organization. A president could literally just abolish it immediately. He could sign a paper and they would disappear.
Sure, but they would have to. I don't know. That's a lot. I mean, there's 35,000 employees in the FBI. I mean, that's a lot of jobs that they would just be government jobs.
Well, what would happen is what always happens is the FBI, I keep saying the FDA, the FBI would be abolished and it would just transform into some new organization. The same guys would go work for the new organization and it would that's the whole thing. You talk about the quote unquote deep state, and there's a lot of talk about the deep state. Who's the deep state? What's the deep state? The deep state is simply the unelected people in the government who don't need to worry about being voted out or voted in. They don't need to worry about campaigns. They don't need to worry about anything. They just have a job, and as long as they don't get fired, they stay in their job. So what's their main goal? To stay in their job and keep transferring power over to their unelected organization. That's the FBI. That's basically the entire intelligence community. And, I'm not even blaming them necessarily. You don't need to necessarily blame them for just being bad people. It's their incentives. What are they incentivized to do? They're incentivized to protect their job and their organization at all costs. And surprise, surprise, that's exactly what they do. And so, I don't know. It's, again, because they're not elected, it could be the stroke of a pen that they get at least, transferred into some other organization. But that doesn't necessarily solve the problem. You got the same snakes, the same career-motivated people who don't actually care about girls being victimized by a serial pedophile. You don't actually care about any of those things. You just got these guys who want to continue getting their government paycheck. And that's the problem with it. But they've had a lot of heat lately And I don't know, the people who have the power to bring some sort of action, or at least some audit or investigation or something, if it doesn't happen, I think this is going to build to an extremely high pressure situation, and it's going to start doggy piling on the sort of anti-government sentiments that are floating around the country right now. And they'll have nobody to thank but themselves.
You know what, the Q cooler, you know what they're saying?
No, I don't.
We will launch a new age.
Oh, gosh.
It's Trump, man. He's making his moves. Exposing the anti-pedophile organizations like the FBI.
All right, you never know. I'm not very privy to
Trust
what
the
Q's
plan.
doing over there.
The storm is here.
The long plan. And apparently part of the plan is making us think that the plan should have happened a while ago and didn't. But who am I? I don't know the plan, apparently.
Well, the New York Times had this also. Durham is set to seek indictment of lawyer at firm with Democratic ties. The lawyer Michael Sussman is accused of lying to the FBI in a 2016 meeting about Trump and Russia. He denies wrongdoing. I'm tired. I don't know if I'm going to go through this right now.
No, yeah, I'm fine to skip it. We also need to get you off to boxing, too.
I know. I'm looking at the time, too.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, long story short, some people lied to the FBI. The guy.
Sussman?
That pushed the whole Russia gate thing.
Oh, this is, you know what? We should save this. Because we do need to do a full thing, but we'll do it next episode. This is the Hillary lawyer.
Yeah, the Hillary lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Hillary lawyer who's got indicted and is going to go down for Russiagate stuff. Let's save this because this deserves our full attention, and we don't have it today. So we'll save that for next episode.
We don't have our full attention today?
We don't have even our full attention. Gons is thinking about boxing. We need to get him to boxing.
All right. Well, we got a couple more here.
Artificial intelligence.
And also mind control.
Mind control intensifies.
This is coming from Al Jazeera. The headline, UN calls for moratorium on AI that threatens humans' rights. Didn't we report on this? Oh, wow. This is a new story. Interesting. So I guess more things are happening. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, on Wednesday called for a moratorium on the sale and use of artificial intelligence systems that threaten human rights until adequate safeguards are in place to ensure the technology will not be abused. Okay, so this is an extension of what we've been following in the past couple months, where the UN, the Pegasus, what is it called? Pegasus? Yeah. The spy system.
Spyware, yeah.
Yeah, the spyware that spied on heads
world
of nations
leaders,
and kings and like everybody around the world, just casually being sold to terrorist nations by some company in, I don't know, Europe or Israel or something. So that was called to be banned by the UN. But now they're even calling to ban artificial intelligence. You've got high-level AI safeguards needing to be put in. Quote, "We cannot afford to continue playing catch-up regarding AI, allowing its use within limited or no boundaries or oversight, and dealing with the almost inevitable human rights consequences after the fact," Bachelet said in a press release. The UN Human Rights Office released a report on Wednesday warning of the risk of AI technologies and emphasizing that while AI can serve as a force for good, it can also cause catastrophic effects if used irresponsibly. Quote, "The complexity of the data environment, algorithms, and models underlying the development and operations of AI systems, as well as intentional secrecy of government and private actors, are factors undermining meaningful ways for the public to understand the effects of AI systems on human rights and society," the report states. Bachelet, who is the UN Human Rights Chief, Bachelet, who is the UN Human Rights Chief, Oh gosh, my reading is starting to fail. Stress that AI applications that do not comply with the international human rights law must be banned. Quote, the power of AI to serve people is undeniable, but so is AI's ability to feed human rights violations at an enormous scale with virtually no visibility. Action is needed now to put human rights guardrails on the use of AI for the good of all of us, Bachelet stressed. AI's abilities to conduct profiling and automate decision-making, as well as its other uses, threaten myriad human rights. It can affect the rights to health, education, freedom of movement, freedom of peaceful assembly and association, and freedom of expression.
Sounds like she's talking about the vaccine passport.
It really does, doesn't it? I mean, you can see facial recognition in this, in the peaceful assembly and association, freedom of movement in the vaccine passport, and other medical liabilities. Oh, gosh. The power of AI to serve... AI systems are used to determine who gets public services, decide who has a chance to be recruited for a job, and of course they affect what information people see and share online, the High Commissioner said. The report expresses deep concern over some countries and the private sector adopting AI applications without first studying the myriad risks of the technology. There have already been some dangerous blunders, the UN office said, noting cases where individuals were denied Social Security benefits or arrested because of flawed facial recognition. AI systems often collect, share, merge, and analyze data in opaque ways. The information that AI collects can be compromised, out of date, and even discriminatory. Quote, the risk of discrimination linked to AI-driven decisions that can change, define, or damage human lives is all too real, Bachelet said. This is why there needs to be a systematic assessment and monitoring of the effects of AI systems to identify and mitigate human rights risks. And there you go. Well, I gotta say, it's not often that I agree with something that the UN calls for, but it does make me wonder what company is ready to step in as a human rights consultant to these AI companies and make $1 billion on upholding UN regulations.
Well, that's good point. But also, how are you going to measure if it's a human rights violation or not? I mean, she had a couple examples here, like her facial recognition failing, and having someone arrested. But that's a failure of the AI. That's not AI discriminating, or maybe it was.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I think that's the problem. In that particular, it's interesting. You call it a failure of the AI, whereas it was actually a success of the AI. It was just a failure of the
accuracy.
Yeah, it's just a human rights failure based on the success of the AI. And that's where the real danger is. We talk about the dangers of AI a lot of times in, they can make mistakes or they can fail, when in reality, the biggest danger is when the AI doesn't fail. It's when the AI succeeds at what the AI is programmed to do. That creates a situation where if a human life is affected by it, then where does liability go?
Yeah. I think there's a couple things. There's the how do you police it, which you had mentioned that there probably some organization pop up under the UN or whatever that'll be policing all that. But also the police. Do I trust the UN? Do you trust the UN to be the arbiters of human rights violations or not? I mean, the obvious stuff maybe, but I would argue that social media in many ways has already violated a lot of human rights. Yeah. And we, when I say we, kind of like the grander we as Americans or just civilians of society, agreed to it. We agreed to the violation. We're like, yeah, sure, just take all our data. Go ahead. Yeah. We want to post pictures, And
that's that opaqueness they were talking about. We agreed to it, but we didn't know we were agreeing to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I would imagine that public education would be a more beneficial application of resources than...
It would definitely be the most beneficial.
Yeah, than just like, oh, we're going to make sure the AI doesn't do it. Well, it's like, well, make sure the people know when they're being violated. That's number one.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of that balance, is the balance of regulation. Yeah, on one hand, the temptation of the UN here could be like, we're big mommy and daddy UN, so we will control everything, and you children, just don't worry about it. We'll make it safe for you. When in reality, you're right. I mean, the number one way for individuals to protect their own rights in every case that rights might be affected is the education of their rights, and that includes transparency in what you're agreeing to. It includes, the people deciding what the public servants like the police and the government are allowed to use and what they're allowed to use it for. And that all, like you said, stems from education. That's why we make a point to pay attention to it here on the show.
Well, and I think that really brings up self-worth and part of the biblical conversation about the image of God, what it means, what our rights are, our God-given rights are. Those types of conversations come up because I can picture, hey, do you want to agree to this 370-page thing here? Well, who has time to read 370 pages? Well, I don't want to just sign anything. Why don't you just download it to your brain, and then you can assess whether or not it's something you'd like. You just put this microchip in there, and hey, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're in trouble. Especially because Mercedes-Benz, your favorite car company,
what?
has come out with Vision Avatar, a car powered by the mind. This is BenzInsider.com. Sure you've read stories every day, every week from Benz Insider.
Benz Insider? This is not a good name. It sounds like a healthcare website.
I want to set this up by reminding everybody of the Ben Rich quote from he was the head of Skunk Works, Lockheed Martin, who basically, one of the guys who was interviewing him more or less was told by Ben Rich that the way you control those UFO crafts is with psychic power.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it says here, Mercedes-Benz Vision Avatar really amazed us when it was unveiled at last year's Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas because of its very futuristic appearance and innovative biometric interaction program that lets the driver steer the auto using subtle gestures. The name of the concept car means Advanced Vehicle Transformation, and it is also a play of Avatar, which happens to be one of the highest-grossing sci-fi films of our time. The Avatar-inspired car is one of the highlights of the three-pointed star mark blah blah Munich Auto Show. Okay. At the time, packing new features. It is packing a new feature that lets it read the mind of its user. Don't get your hopes up too much, though, because it's not like it's going to give you access to the powers of Professor X, Jean Grey, or other comic book telepaths.
Okay.
The new tech introduced in the Avatar is the integration of Brain-Computer Interface, BCI, in its system. BCI works by recording the brain activity of the user through wearable electrodes attached to the back of his or her head, similar to the Matrix, and then it establishes a direct connection to the vehicle after a minute of calibration. From there, the user can trigger some targeted functions of the vehicle. The innovative concept could be the next big thing following the craze surrounding self-driving cars.
Oh, it's a concept car. Okay.
Initially, the Mercedes-Benz Vision Avatar is a product of collaboration with Disney, which explains why it's associated with the Avatar franchise. Launched in 2009. Aside from the groundbreaking design, the vehicle is highlighted by the 33 bionic flaps on its back that mimic reptilian scales. Come on, man.
You got brain-computer interface. You got the Matrix. You got Disney, 33, and reptilian scales all in one press release for a new car from Mercedes. That's great.
I mean, come on. There's like no way that all that. This is not hilarious. Chance. This is. I mean, the car looks kind of cool, but then also, is just ridiculous. It's like, there's no subtlety when it comes to the spiritual origin of a car like this.
Yeah, that is hilarious. It's like they spent millions of dollars designing a car specifically so we could report it.
I know. It's almost like fake.
That's funny.
It's like, oh yeah, somebody will pick up on it. All those news talk, Canary Cry people, they love the 33. They love bashing on the Disney. They love the mind control AI brain computer interface. Just give them a whole package.
That's great. All right. Well, that's a good ending. Let's get you out to boxing here.
I'm really tired. This is going to be fun. I know. Exhausted.
There you go. You got to get your body working to get your mind right, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Monday. Monday will be the 20th of September already.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's ridiculous. Like I blinked and it's been 3 weeks. Yes. So there you go. We'll be back on Monday. So remember us. What will that be? That'll be episode 391. Woo!
Our march to 400.
Yes, the march to 400 has begun. All right, we got to think of something cool to do for 400. But there you go. We'll be back on Monday with episode 391. And remember us, because you can support the show. Become a producer. You've been waiting this long. You might as well become a producer. I mean, maybe you want to wait till 400. I don't know what your deal is, but we're on the march to 400. So become a producer of the show. Take responsibility for your own media future. If you've appreciated what we do on this show, and all while not monetizing your trust and attention and selling it to big corporations, please consider producing the show. And I want to thank our producers of this episode 390 of Canary Cry News Talk. That is our executive producer, Heather Russ, and of course our associate executive producers, Scott K. And Sir Michael, Knight of the Busy Bees. There we go. Thank you guys. Oh, yes, and the rest of our producers, which include Sir Dylan, our triple threat for the day. Did I say Sir Dylan? I meant producer Dylan. Thank you, Dylan.
No, it is Sir Dylan.
Is it Sir Dylan?
Yeah, Knight of the Wailing Avian.
Yes, that's right. Sir Dylan, thank you very much. We got producer Blake. Producer Little Winged One, James H, Alana Else, Spirit Vessel, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Brant W, Big Tank, JC, Aaron J, Reagan A, that's Shagan to you, Sir Samus the Knight of the Fishes, Veronica D, Juan A, Gail M, Marcy T, Runk Smash, and Ciara. And of course, thank you to our time stamper Rachel C, and our jingle makers and artists, our international team of producers keeping this show going. We appreciate it very much. This might have set a record too for returning producers who are knights.
Yeah, we had a lot of nights, huh?
4 nights coming in this episode.
All right.
So thank you very much, Knights of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Yes, so there you go. If you want to become a producer of the show, go ahead and head on over to patreon.com/CCNT or CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right. And remember, head on over to CanaryCryMeetups.com. There is almost certainly a meetup going on near you if you're in the U.S., but hey, there's the Euro meetups as well. There's new meetups popping up all the time. It's very important for you, dear listener, to connect with people who are on the same wavelength, and meeting up with other Canarians all around the country and the world is a great way to do that. You can head to CanaryCryMeetups.com and you'll see all the available meetups. And if you don't see one that's near you, there's instructions on there. You can do your own meetup. You will be surprised how many Canarians are in your area just waiting for someone to put on a meetup. So go do that. It's very important. Start putting that apocalypse team together, and that's a great way to do it. You can also support the show if you're a creative person. Create something for the show. If you're an artist or a jingle maker or a musician or whatever you do, create something for the show, by the show, feature it on the show. We love doing it. It's an important part of the show. You can send all that to CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com if you like it easy, or CanaryCryRadio@protonmail.com if you like to keep it secret. And other than that, make sure to leave ratings and reviews. It's very important, and I get to read them all on the show, no matter what you have to say. I am honor bound to read your ratings and reviews on the show. Again, it is something Gons and I have no control over. This is all producers. You got to leave ratings and reviews. Kick those algorithms into high gear. It'll share the show. Hundreds of new people will find the show if we hit that quota of 5 reviews and ratings by next Friday. So go do that. Other than that, share the show. Share it out on your social media. Share it with your friends, your family. You know, you can share it all over the place. Put it on your Twitter, on your Facebook, or even just in the comment sections of Reddits or something. Let people know about the show. They will thank you. You can get kind of creative with ways of sharing the show as well. You know, if you download the podcast, you play the podcast out loud to like a seed, perhaps like a pine tree seed. Go ahead and play the whole podcast, or you could even do like a couple of episodes. Maybe run through all 391 episodes. Play it to a seed. Plant that seed. Water the seed. Love the seed. That seed will grow into a big tree that will then start cycling out carbon dioxide from the air. It needs that carbon dioxide, that tree. It goes, nom, 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 nom. It will eat up the carbon dioxide, turn it into oxygen. It'll expel that oxygen that will then be breathed by human beings around the world, and they'll take a big breath. What the heck? Suddenly, I'm thinking outside the cage. It's almost like I need to listen to a new podcast. Something about this big breath of oxygen is guiding me onto my podcast player to listen to something called Canary Cry News Talk. That's just one way of doing it. You can think of your own creative ways. But you got friends, you got family. They're starting to wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems. And you can help them out with that. It's easy. If you need any more instructions, well, we call it rattling cages. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Any last words, Gons?
There will be wailing in all the streets.
If Gons doesn't make it to boxing on time.
Yes, that is the prophecy from Amos 5:16. It was talking about my boxing on September 17th.
So it is written, so it shall be. All right, let's get you out of here, Gons. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Man. Oh, it's really a productive segment, man. 120 days. Give me a break.
I wrote the bill. Pay them more. Get vaccinated. I wrote the bill. Pay them more. Get vaccinated.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on. Keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo. Scream for Charlotte! You, yeah, you in my people's zoo.
We will hunt you down and make you pay.
State and federal health officials. State and federal health officials. Officials.
Screw your freedom. Are you even woke? Screw your freedom.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Vaccinations.
I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
I am vaccine. I am vaccine.
People's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.